The Skin I Am, a novel by Sharon G. Flake. The first time I seen her, I got a bad feeling inside. Not like I was in danger or nothing, just like she was somebody I should stay clear of. To tell the truth, she was a freak like me, the kind of person folks can't help but tease. That's bad if you're a kid like me. It's worse for a new teacher like her. Miss Saunders is as different as they come. First off, she's got a man's name, Michael. Now, who ever heard of a woman named like that? She's tall and fat like nobody's business, and she's got the smallest feet I've ever seen. Worse yet, she got a giant white stain spread halfway across her face like somebody tossed acid on it or something. I tried not to stare the first day that Amazon woman teachers heads my way. See, I got a way of attracting strange characters. They draw to me like someone stuck a note on my forehead saying loser. Wanted here. Well, I spent a lot of time trying to fit in here at McClinton Middle School. I ain't letting nobody ruin it for me, especially no teacher. I didn't even look up when Miss Saunders came up to me that day like I'm some kind of information center. Excuse me, she says. She's wearing a dark purple suit and starched white shirt with matching purple buttons. That outfit costs $300 easy. I'm trying to find the principal's office. I know it's around here somewhere. Can you help me? Before I catch myself, my eyes ricocheted like pinballs, bounding from John McIntyre's beady brown eyes right up to hers. I swallowed hard, stared at her till John whacked me on the arm with his rolled up comic book. That away, I said, pointing up the hall. Thank you. Now what's your name? She says, putting down her briefcase like she's gonna stay here a while. Malika. Malika Madison the third. I say, smacking my gum really loud. Don't let that fancy name fool you, John butts in. She ain't nobody worth knowing. Miss Saunders stares down at him till he turns his head away and starts playing with the buttons on his shirt like some 2-year-old. Like I say, the office is that away, I point. Thank you, she says, walking off. Then she stops stone still, like some bright idea had just come to her, turns around and heads back my way. My skin starts to crawl before she even opens up her mouth. Malika, your skin is pretty, like a blue-black sky after it's framed in rain, she says. Then she smiles and explains how that line comes from a favorite poem of hers. Next thing I know, she's heading down the hall again like nothing much happened. When she's far enough away, John says to me, I don't see no pretty, just a whole lot of black. Before I can punch him good, he's singing a rap song. Malika, Malika, boom, boom, boom. We sure want to keep a boom, 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 but she black, boom, boom, boom. We just can't see ya. Before I know it, there are 3 more boys is pointing at me and singing that song too. Me, I'm wishing the building will collapse on top of me. John McIntyre is the smallest 7th grader in the world. Even 5th graders can see over his head. Sometimes I have a hard time believing he and me are both 13. He's my color, but since 2nd grade he's been teasing me about being black too. Last year when I thought things couldn't get no worse, he came up with this hair song. Now, here's this woman comes talking that black stuff, stirring him up again. Seems like people been teasing me all my life. If it ain't about my color, it's about my clothes. Mama makes them by hand. They look it, too. Lopsided pockets, stitching forever unraveling. I never know when a collar's gonna fall off or a pushpin gonna stick in me and make me holler out in class. I stopped worrying about that this year, now that Charlize lends me clothes to wear. I stashed them in the locker and changed into them before first period. I'm like Superman when I get Charlize clothes. I got a new attitude and my teachers sure don't like it none. It's bad enough that I'm the darkest, worst dressed thing in school. I'm also the tallest, skinniest thing you ever seen. And people like John remind me of it every chance they get. They don't say nothing about the fact that I'm a math whiz and can outdo 9th graders when it comes to figuring numbers, or that I got a good memory and never forget one single solitary thing I read. They only see what they see and they don't seem to like what they see much. Up to now, I just took it. The name calling, the pushing and shoving and cheating off me. Then last week something happened. I was walking down the hall and one of Char's dresses strapped my stuff looking good. Then Char walked up to me and told me to take off her clothes. Then there was maybe 8 or 9 kids around when she said it too, including Caleb. I thought she was kidding. She wasn't, so I went to the girls' room and put my own stuff back on. That's when I made up my mind. Enough is enough. I deserve better than for people to treat me any old way they want. But saying that is one thing, making it happen is something else. So you see, I got my own troubles. I don't need no Scarface teacher making things worse. But I got this feeling Miss Saunders is going to mess things up for me real bad. Chapter 2. John thinks he's smart. I hear him still singing that boom boom song under his breath. I don't have to listen to it either. So instead of going to the fifth period and sitting next to him, I'm going outside. There's plenty of kids hanging out around the corner at the pretzel place. I just have to get to my locker for my coat and slip out the back door. Soon as I get down the hall, though, who do I see but that woman? She's all up in somebody else's business already. Young lady, she says to a girl leaning against the wall with a boy sucking on her neck. Get to class. I turn to a locker like I'm trying to open it. When the girl turns Miss Saunders' way, I almost choke on my spit. It's Charlize. Man, that stuff's gonna fly now. Charlize stares at Miss Saunders like she's out of her mind. Then she laughs. I see Miss Saunders crunch up her face and cutting her eyes at Worm. Worm busts out laughing and says, Dang, who you? Somebody's mama? I'm the new English teacher. Miss Saunders has got a real attitude when she says it, too. Shoot, Char says. I sure ain't looking at that face 45 minutes every day. No way. Worm puts his arm around Char's shoulder. They walk down the hall right past me. Dang, what happened to her? He whispers. They head for the stairway to keep on locking lips. To class or to the office, Miss Sanders calls after them real loud and steady. Charlize looks at Miss Sanders and roll her eye. Miss Sanders has got her hands on her hips. You have something to say? Big mistake, lady, I'm thinking. Charlize is the baddest thing in this school. She ain't gonna forgive you for loud talking to her. Charlize, she's crazy like. Next thing I know, she's telling Miss Saunders to mind her own business. She says something about her face. Worm's telling Char to cool it. He's dragging her down the hall with his hand over her, covering her big mouth. The new teacher don't know when to quit. She tells Worm to hold on a minute, then she says her piece. She's letting Charlize know that she traveled all over the world and there's nothing Charlize can say about her face that she ain't heard in at least 4 different languages. Char says, if you're so high and mighty, what you're doing in a dump like this? Miss Saunders put down her briefcase when she does her Gucci wash flashes. This lady's got money, big time cash. I want to give back something, Miss Saunders says. You want to give something back? Charlize asks, putting out her hand. Good. You can start by giving me them designer shoes and that $300 watch you got on. Charlize, she's got an eye for the good stuff. Her older sister Juju, who's been taking care of Char since their parents died 2 years back, has got all kinds of stuff at their house. Most of it still got price tags on it. She'll sell you a $300 pantsuit for $50 or a nice coat for a Benjamin, $100. Good deals if you got the dollars, which I ain't got. Char's lucky. When my daddy died 3 years ago, Mama took to her sewing machine to help her ease the pain. I sure wish she'd taken to get me some clothes off a store rack instead. Her sewing is a shame. Worm tells Charlize to forget about Miss Saunders and to get out of there. Charlize don't let the new broad off so easy. You don't scare me, she says, putting her hands on her hips, but before Miss Saunders can speak, here comes Ty, interrupting everything. I see you met Charlize, Ty says to Miss Saunders. Ty teaches math. She is weird, too. She stands at the blackboard with one leg leaning on the other like a flamingo. She does yoga and hums like a heater on the blink. Ty's a strange chick, I'm telling you. I see you made it, she says to Miss Saunders, grabbing both her arms and squeezing them tight in a friendly girl-to-girl squeeze. Ty looks funny standing next to Miss Saunders, who must be close to 6 feet tall. Ty is short with long hair and 2 sets of silver hoop earrings in her ears and small holes in her nose where she puts her nose ring when she ain't at work. We're old college roommates, she says to Charlize. You will love having this woman around. She really makes things happen. I don't know why Ty is telling all this to Charlize. She knows Charlize couldn't care less. Ty and Miss Saunders head for the office. Ty tells Worm and Charlize to get to class. Sure, Ty, Char says, all sweet and innocent. When Char's halfway up the hall, Ty looks over her shoulder at me and says, that goes for you too, Miss Madison. Chapter 3. We're in the girls' room, like always. For once, I'm really trying to pee, not just talk about folk. That's hard in this school. Ain't no doors on the stalls. The principal took them off himself, so everything we do is out in the open. Like, that's gonna stop these girls from smoking cigarettes right on the walls and cutting class. Everybody's talking about the new teacher. Her face looks like somebody threw a hot pot of something on it, Shar says, frowning. If I had a mug like that, I'd kill myself, she said, lifting up her arms and smelling her armpits. I want to tell her that if I had hair balls as big as basketballs growing under my arms like she does, I'd kill myself. But I don't say what's on my mind. I just keep quiet. Just think, if that was your mother, Raina, one of the twins says, I wouldn't even claim her if she was my mom's. Shar says, taking out deodorant. Then she pulls up her shirt and reaches inside to roll the sticky blue stuff on. The four of us meet in the bathroom every morning. Me, Shar, and the twins, Raina and Ray's. We talk, smoke, stuff like that. I hang in the bathroom to get out of Mama's homemade rags and into the clothes Charlize brings for me to try on. Then it's a skin-tight navy blue jean dress with thick gold buttons. Shar says the dress would be perfect if I had some hips and boobs to go with it. Shar blows a fat ring of stinky gray smoke in my face. I laugh like everybody else. You got to go along with Shar if you want to get along with her. You can't be all sensitive, that's what Shar says. When the first period bell rings, I throw my backpack over her shoulders and head to class. Shar and them are cutting class, hanging out around the corner probably. I ain't for looking at that woman's mug today, Shar says. It's enough to make you throw up. Shar takes out another cool cigarette and taps it on her hand like she's giving herself a needle. She puts it in her mouth and waits for Ray to light it. Then she closes her eyes and sucks in the smoke slow and long like she's making a wish. The next thing I know, she's blowing the smoke in my face again. I guess that's supposed to be funny. Shar's laughing really hard. She tells me to get out her face. I do what I'm told. I didn't always hang with Shar. Last year I hung by myself. I went to class, got mostly A. Nobody even noticed me till Caleb Jamal Assoon came along. Caleb's the smartest boy in school. Cute, friendly, a poet. I should have known being with him was going to cause me trouble. He stared at me half the year. I thought he saw what everybody else saw, skinny, poor black Malika. But Caleb saw something different. He said I was pretty, said he liked my eyes and sweet cocoa brown skin. He wrote me poems and letters. He put spearmint gum inside, walked me to class, gave me a ring. I ain't told Mama. After a while, everybody knew. Charlize and them laughed when Caleb and I walked by. They stuck out their legs and tried to trip me. They wrote Caleb notes saying not even Goodwill would want my clothes. Somebody said I had hair so nappy I need a rake to comb it. It was that class trip to Washington, D.C. where things really fell apart. Caleb sat next to me. They teased us all the way there. Barks came from back of the bus. Spit bombs flew my way. Then John started singing his song, Malika, Malika. We sure want to keep her, but she's so black. We just can't see her. The whole bus started and teachers tried to make them stop. But then it was too late. I looked at Caleb. He gave me the goofiest smile and said, sorry, Malika, and moved to the front of the bus with his boys. They slapped him high five. Everybody laughed and clapped. I sat there with a frozen smile on my face like that stupid Mona Lisa. To this day, I don't know nothing about Washington, D.C., just that I don't ever want to go there no more. Things got worse after that. Kids picked on me more than ever. They sang John John's stupid song whenever I walked the hall. They got on my case about every little thing, my hair, my clothes, my color, my good grades, the fact that teachers liked me. I didn't want to go to school after a while, but Mama said I had to. So I came up with a plan. I went to Shaw and said if she would let me hang out with her, kind of look out for me, I would do her homework and stuff. She laughed at first, said for me to get out her face, that she don't want no geeks hanging around her, especially no ugly ones. I didn't listen. I turned up everywhere she was, the bathroom, lunchroom, the water fountain. I even did her homework a few times to show her I knew my stuff. She gave in after a while and kids started leaving me alone. After that, Shar started bringing clothes to school for me. You got to look like something when you with me, she said, kicking a bag of stuff my way. But even those $100 pantsuits she brought in for me to wear can't make up for the hurt I feel when she slaps me with the mean words of hers. Chapter 4. When the second bell rings, I run to Miss Sanders' class like somebody set my shoes on fire. It don't help none. Soon as I walk in, I know I'm in trouble. Everybody got their head down. They're writing. Miss Sanders nods for me to take out a paper and get to my seat. What does your face say to the world? Is written on the blackboard. I laugh, only it comes out like I sneeze through my nose. Miss Sanders is collecting papers before I even got 3 sentences down on the paper. She knows I just slipped in. That don't stop her from asking me to answer the question, though. My face, I point to myself. Malika's face says she needs to stay out of the sun, Larry Baker says, covering his face with a book. Nah, man, Gregory Williams says. Malika's face says black is beautiful. Miss Saunders don't say nothing. She just crosses her arms and gets real quiet. She don't care if she done embarrass me again. Malika, she says. I don't answer her question or look her way. I eye the ceiling, count the blobs of gum hanging there like pretty colored snot. Can anybody else tell me what their face says to the world? Miss Saunders asks, her gold bangle jingle while she makes her way around the room. Miss Saunders is as quiet as a tiger sneaking up its supper. It's them Italian leather shoes of hers, I guess. Malcolm Moore raises his hand. Malcolm is fine. He got long, straight hair, skin the color of butterscotch milkshake, gray, sad eyes. He's half and half, got a white dad and a black mama. He's lucky. He looks more like his dad than his mom. My face says I'm all that, Malcolm says, rubbing them 6 chin hairs he calls a bear, and says to the homies, I'm the doctor of love. I'm good to you, and I'm good for ya. Everybody laughs. Faith, his girlfriend of the week, throws a pencil across the room. It bounces off the back of his chair and lands between his big feet. Miss Saunders gives Faith the eye, letting her know to cut it out. When the laughing done, hands go up. Some folks say funny stuff about the Faith, others is real serious, like John. He says his face tells the world he doesn't take no stuff, that people better respect him or else. I never seen nothing like that in John's face. I never seen nothing like that in John's face. He looks more scared than mean. I guess there ain't no accounting for what folks see in their own mirrors. When Miss Saunders asks what my face said, don't nobody say nothing. Don't get all closed-mouthed now, she says. I hear you whispering in the hall, laughing at me. She walks the aisles again. She stops by me and sits on my desk. Faces say more than you think, even mine. Don't be shy. Say what's on your mind. My hand goes up. I figure she's embarrassed me twice since she's been here this week. Now it's her turn. Not to hurt your feelings, but I think it says you're a freak. That's cold, Crystal Johnson says, frowning. Miss Saunders put her hand up to her chin like she's praying. She gets up, walks the room, pacing. We don't say nothing. We just listen to the clock tick. Shuffle our papers. Watch for some reaction. Miss Saunders from Miss Saunders. Freak, she says. I saw that too when I was young. Then she explains how she was born with her face like that. How when she was little, her parents had the preacher pray over it. The old folks worked their roots on it, and her grandmother used some concoction to change the color of the blotch on her cheeks so it matched the rest of her skin. Miss Saunders says none of the stuff she tried on her face worked. She finally figured she better love what God gave her. Liking myself didn't come overnight, she says. I took a lot of wrong turns to find out who I really was. You will too. Everybody starts talking at once, asking her questions. Miss Saunders answers them all. Some kids even go up to her face and stare and point. She lets them do it. She's proud of her face or something. Then Miss Saunders comes out over to my desk and stared down at me. It takes a long time to accept yourself for who you are, to see the poetry in your walk, she said, shaking her hips like she's doing some African dance. Kids bust out laughing. To look in the mirror and like what you see, even when it doesn't look like anybody else's idea of beauty. For a minute, it seems like Miss Saunders is getting all spacey on us, like her mind is somewhere else. Then she's back talking that talk. So what's my face say to the world, she asks. My face says that I'm smart, sassy, sexy, confident, she says, snapping her fingers in rapid fire. It says I'm caring and yes, even a little cold sometimes. See these laugh lines, she says, almost poking herself in the eyes. Let people know that I love a good joke. These tiny bags, they tell the world I like to stay up late. Doing what, Miss Saunders? John asks, checking homework or making out. Miss Saunders throws her head back and laughs, then lines around her eyes crinkle, the bangles on her arm jingle. What do I think my face says to the world? I think it says I'm all that, she says, snapping her fingers. Kids clap like they just seen a good movie and they yell stuff like, go on, Miss Saunders, give me 5, tell us who you really is. Miss Saunders quiets everybody down and starts telling us more about herself. She's a big shot at an advertising agency downtown. A few months ago, her company and the school board came up with a new program that lets professionals take a leave of absence for a year to teach in inner city schools. She says she always wanted to teach. She says being at a McClinton middle school will help her figure out if she wants to make a career out of teaching. Next thing we know, Miss Saunders is asking us to take out some papers for a test. A surprise test. Some of the kids who were just giving out high fives are singing a different tune now. Worm thinks Miss Saunders is playing around for a minute, but she ain't. She says she wants to evaluate us, to figure out what we know and don't know. Miss Saunders says the test won't count for a grade. John John starts to get smart. He don't do so good on tests. Then why we got to do it? He asks, putting one leg across his desk. Miss Saunders strunts over to his desk and pushes his leg off. Because I say so, she says, handing out the papers and telling us to settle down. Chapter 5. When I get home, Mama is waiting at the door to take me downtown to buy new clothes. She says she got a bonus at work, so she has some extra cash to throw around for once. I don't care how she got the money, just as long as I get to spend some of it. So here I am today, looking fine. I got on enough lip gloss to shine a car, and I have a crease in my pants sharp enough to cut somebody. For the first time in who knows when, I look like somebody, and Charlize Jones ain't had nothing to do with it. At school, everybody's staring at me. Even John John's doing a double take when I walk into class. All eyes is on me. Char's the only one that got something negative to say. So your mama finally broke down and bought you some clothes. About time, she says, as soon as we get to Miss Saunders' class. When I walk in Miss Saunders' room, she already giving out an assignment. We get to work on this assignment with someone else, she says. Char lets Miss Saunders know that me and her are gonna be partners. Char's figuring I'll do all the work, but Miss Saunders is hip to that game. She says she's picking our partner. She hooks me up with Desda. Char don't like that one bit. She picks up her stuff and walks out of the room. Miss Saunders acts like Char's leaving don't bother her none. Desda is the short, fat girl sitting by the door. Everybody in school knows she can cook up a storm. Turkey, stuffed chicken, gravy, 3-cheese macaroni, pasta salad, fried steak, lasagna. She's won all kinds of cooking awards. She even won $500 from a Betty Crocker bake-off contest. She called her recipe Desda's Darling Delicious Double Dutch Chocolate Chip Cake. She never will spend the $500 prize money that is scholarship money for college, and Desda can't hardly read what the word says, let alone try to get into college. I hear Miss Saunders gonna start tutoring Desda. Yeah, right. I'm thinking Desda's gonna read on grade level when pigs fly. Anyhow, Miss Saunders asked the class to pretend we're teenagers living in the 17th century. We have to write a diary chronicling our experiences. John raises his hand and asks why we gotta do this assignment anyway. Don't make no sense to me, he says, frowning. Miss Saunders looks like she's thinking hard for a good reason herself. Her fingers go on her lips. Her eyes check out the ceiling like she's going to find the answer up there. I want you to know what it feels like to live in somebody else's skin and to see the world through somebody else's eyes, she said. Miss Saunders takes a deep breath, closes her eyes, then tells us to do the same. When you were little, you loved to play pretend, to be G.I. Joe or Barbie. This is the same thing, playing pretend, she says. G.I. Joe's a punk. Don't nobody want to be him, John yells, cracking up the whole class. You get to be anyone you like, Miss Saunders says, walking toward him. She tells us that this is an exercise that will show her how well we write and use our imagination. So no more grumbling, she says. Get to work now. I looked at Desda. She's sitting there showing off her big white teeth and licking her lips like they're candy. At first, I don't say nothing. I roll my pencil around on the desk. I wait for Desda to start things, but nothing happened. Desda don't say nothing for 10 whole minutes. Then here comes Miss Saunders, like she's big banging the clock. I hope you and your partner are using your time wisely. You only have 20 minutes left. I rip out some loose leaf paper and I start writing. This here what we're gonna do, I tell Desda. She doesn't say nothing. She is just smiling and picking at some crud cakes in her eyes. So I get started without her. At first I pretend I'm a girl living in a drafty castle that I hate because my parents don't got enough candles to light the place. And I start thinking, back then I would have been a slave. Maybe a slave girl in the bottom of a boat, chained to some boy with the prettiest eyes and some girl who keeps stealing my little scraps of food, skinny and stinking and starving, and all the time next to a cute boy who I like so much it hurts. I start to write. Dear Diary, I hate fish, but I could eat a whole whale right now. I haven't had nothing much to eat for 3 weeks. Or is it 5 weeks? Watery rice with maggots in it is all they give us here. Mama used to always say I was the skinny one. She would cry if she saw me now. All ribs and knees, ankles big as yams. Worse than no food and stink everywhere is having Kinjari see me now. Mama would say I am vain and foolish girl, here dying wondering what some boy thinks about me. But I can't help it. In my village, Kinjari's family would know my family and maybe arrange for us to be married, even at my age 13. But no one would ask to marry me like this, sitting in my own filth, my head shaved clean, to keep lice away, skin dry and ashy like tree bark ate away by desert wind. Day in and day out, Kinjari eyes me, staring like he sees the sun rising in my eyes. I want to ask him why he looks at me that way. Am I something so beautiful he can't help but stare? I keep quiet. Beauty is where one finds it, my father used to say. Sometimes when I awake, I am so close to Kinjari I can smell his breath, like mine is awful, but I don't care. It is good knowing he is near, knowing he was near, I mean. I was sick, bad, for a long while. When I woke up, Kinjari was gone. Dead? He had the mark, the pox, the girl chained to me said, sucking her front teeth like they was soup bones. The slavers tossed him over the side, she said. But this one, she stealed my food. Can I trust her with the truth? I don't know. Akilma. I read the diary letter to Desta. She asked me how I came up with the girl's name, Akilma. It's close to my name spelled backwards, I told her. How come you don't talk proper like Akilma talks in her diary, she asks. Don't nobody talk like that for real. Only people in old movies and books. Then I tell her how before he died my father read me books where people spoke like that. Some of it stuck, I guess. Miss Saunders picks up the papers and starts reading some out loud. Don't read mine, I think. Turning my head at the wall, Desta raises her hand and asks Miss Saunders to read ours. Miss Saunders says it's the best, most thoughtful piece she heard so far. Desta, Malika, good job, she says. Desta smiles. She sits up straight and tall and shows off them giant teeth as hers. I should be pissed off at her since she didn't do a dang thing to help me write that essay. But today I got on my new clothes and I'm feeling mighty fine. I don't crack on Desta or nothing. I just get myself on out of there. I don't answer Char when she calls for me to come her way. This is my day and I'm not letting anybody spoil it. Nobody. Miss Saunders has got other ideas though. She pulls me and Desta aside and says she wants us to keep doing the assignment. No one else, just us. Desta asks what we're going to get out of it. Extra credit is all. Desta pulls out right then. Admit she didn't have nothing much to do with writing the assignment, that I did all the work. Miss Saunders turns around to me. Desta walks off. I don't know, maybe it's these new clothes and all, but I said okay. I don't want to spoil my good mood by telling no teacher where to get off today. Besides, I like writing that stuff. I didn't tell that to Miss Saunders, though. She could use it against me somehow. Chapter 6. One minute I'm walking down the hall watching people, watching me in my new clothes. The next minute, Daphne Robson is all up in my face ready to fight. She says she just found out I was kissing her boyfriend in the hall the other day. Worm wasn't sucking my lips off. He was kissing Charlize. I want to yell, but I don't. Bad things happen around here to people who can't keep their mouth shut. I keep stepping and tell Daphne she's got the wrong girl, but I ain't as cool as I seem. My fingers are starting to shake and my throat is dry as toast. Daphne's itching for a fight. I can feel it. The next thing I know, she's grabbing hold of my braids. She got them wrapped around her hands like boxing tape and is punching me upside the head with them. I'm taller than Daphne, so it seems like all I have to do is reach down and slap her off me like a bug. I'm pushing her away as best as I can, only every time I do it feels like my hair is being ripped from my scalp. Kids are yelling all around me, beat her butt, God, ain't nobody got the right to steal your man. Teachers say to break it up for kids to move so they can stop this thing. Georgia's standing there eating a candy bar like she's at the movie. I'm eyeing her, hoping maybe she'll jump in or at least say she was the one that was kissing Worm. She digs in the chocolate out from between her teeth and takes another bite of the candy. All of a sudden, here comes Miss Saunders, pushing her way past everybody to where me and Daphne are fighting. I never thought I'd be so glad to see that woman, but I am. She's pushing her way through the crowd like there ain't nobody at McClinton big or bad enough to stop her. I don't know what's got into me. I ain't no fighter. Never fought one day in my life, but all of a sudden I'm feeling strong. When I see Miss Saunders have my waist, I raise my hand to the air and give Daphne some of what she's been giving me. Next thing I know, Miss Saunders grabbing hold of my hand, telling me to cut it out. Big mistake. Now Daphne's got the chance to get in one last hit. She takes her hand, the one with Worm's daddy's big baseball ring on it, and smacks me across the face. My cheeks puff up like hot cookie dough. I can feel the blood oozing down my chin. Miss Saunders shoves her hands in the suit pocket and pulls out tissues like she's got boxes of them stashed. The principal starts breaking up the crowd, telling everybody to move along or come to the office. Next thing I know, Daphne's gathering up snot in her throat like she's summoning up demon. Before I even think about it, that big green slimy stuff comes flying my way, landing right on my shirt. Charlize is one of the first people to crack up. The principal, Mr. Pajoli, has got Daphne by the arm and is telling her to come to his office. Miss Saunders has got them tissues rubbing blood and snot off me, still holding my arm like I'm going to do something dangerous. Get off me, I said, jerking my arm away. Why don't you go back to where you came from? That will be enough, Mr. Pajoli says, heading my way. What's she doing here anyway, Mr. P? I said, holding my face. She don't know what she's doing. Mr. Pajoli takes me by the elbow and tells some kid to get me to the nurse office. He takes Daphne with him. She's mouthing out saying, if she gets suspended, I better too. Miss Saunders has got her arm raised, telling people to get to class. I'm just wondering when she's going to get out my life. Chapter 7. No television, telephone, or hanging out with friends for 3 weeks, all because of that fight. And that ain't even the worst part. The principal, Miss Saunders, and Mom got their heads together and came up with a way to punish me good. They say it ain't punishment, but it sure feels that way. They found me a job that don't pay no money and ain't no fun at all. I don't even want it, but Mama got her mind set, so that's that. I'll be working in the school office, filing papers, stapling letters, that kind of stuff. This is Miss Saunders' bright idea. She talked it over with Mama last night on the telephone. I hear some of the conversation coming through the receiver. Miss Saunders was saying something about me wasting my potential, that the school needed a better way to keep up with me so I don't fall through the cracks. And Mama believes all that crap, when the truth is that Miss Saunders is just a big-mouthed, bossy broad who likes to throw her weight around and treat everybody like they are some broken pot she's got to patch up. I could smell the peppermint tea Mama was sipping while she spoke to Miss Saunders. Malika's got more potential than she's letting on. Keeping her under the principal's nose may be just the way to get her back in line. Mama and Miss Saunders talk a long time. When they're done, I try to tell Mama that Miss Saunders doesn't know what she's doing, that she ain't even a real teacher. Mama says she doesn't care. She likes her. That Miss Saunders is the first teacher who ever called here to talk about what was going on with you. I like that. It shows she's concerned, that this job ain't just about the money. I tell Mama that Miss Saunders don't need the money. She got plenty. Don't it make you wonder, Mama, why somebody with all that money and a good job would give it up to come to McClinton? Mama sits there for a while thinking. I wouldn't think on it too much, Malika, she said. She's here. That's the important thing. No way is Mama gonna let me not work in that office. She even threatened me, saying if I try to get out of it, she will take away all my rights at home. So I figured, cool, I'll do it. And while I'm doing it, I will find out the real deal on Miss Saunders. Get all up in her business like she's up in mine. Payback, you know? So on the first day I worked in the office, I asked Miss Carroll, the secretary, about Miss Saunders. Miss Carroll likes to gossip, so I figure she'll tell me something. But Miss Carroll just stares up at me with her arms crossed. You're here to work, right? Right, I said, biting on my dry skin hanging from my lip. Then do your work and stop minding grown folks' business. Maxine, the other girl working in the office, is acting like she's filing paper. I know she's listening, though. I leave Miss Carroll standing there with her arms folded, and I found myself like she says. Turn out I don't need her to tell me about Miss Saunders. It don't take me long to start piecing stuff together from the other teachers. They complain about her every chance they get. If you ask me, that program doesn't work one bit, Mr. Mack, the science teacher said. A school doesn't run like a corporation. Things don't happen at the snap of the finger or at the drop of a pen. Change takes time. A bull in China shop, that's what she is. Miss Benson, the librarian, says under her breath, she's not following the curriculum the way it's laid out. She's pushing the kids too hard, telling them to read 50 pages one night, 30 pages the next. I'm telling you, hiring her was a bad move. If those teachers knew I was working at the desk, they would be more careful. But they don't know I'm here. I've dropped some paper clips on the floor, and I'm crouching under the desk to pick them up slowly. It looks like nobody's around but Miss Carroll, and she's in the back Xeroxing. Maxine is running errands. When I stand up, Mr. Max gets all red-faced. He thinks I'm trying to be a smart aleck. His lips curl up tight. My, Malika, aren't you the lucky one? Here to work in the office, I see, he says, stomping out the door right into Mr. Pajoli, who's heard everything he said. Sometimes, Mr. Mack, you need new ideas to do things differently. Nothing wrong with a little change is there. He asks, I'm sorry, Mr. Pajoli, but the way I see it, rewarding those who misbehave and refuse to play by the rules is wrong. Dead wrong. How will you reward the good ones? Put them in on detention, Mr. Mack says. They're all good ones, Mr. Mack. Some of them just need more support than others. Mr. Mack makes a clicking noise with his tongue. He and Miss Benson walk down the hall together, side by side. We all think those two got a thing going on, even though we never seen them kiss or even hold hands. Mr. Pajoli tells me not to worry, that things will work out fine for me if I try hard enough. All that time he's talking, I'm trying to figure out how I can cut this gig loose. I mean, let's face it, I got better things to do with my time than work for free. Chapter 8. The only reason Mama lets me off restriction at home is because I started that new job, and she thinks that's going to change me somehow. I don't tell her that she's out of her head. Shoot, I'm just glad I can watch TV and talk on the phone again. After all, it is Saturday, but I can't talk on the phone right this minute because as soon as my girl Sweets come over to my house, she hogs the phone. Sweets' mama is super strict. She never lets Sweets on the phone, so here she is laying across my bed on her stomach with her short legs waving in the air every time Larry says something to her. Neither one of us is supposed to talk to boys, but we do every once in a while. With the way Sweets is acting, you'd think Larry could see her. She's putting lip gloss on her lips, combing her hair, brushing off her clothes. Sweets has been liking Larry since she was 6 years old. She thinks he likes her, only he's so shy, you can't tell. All he ever talks about with her is basketball. They're talking about the game the Knicks won the other night. If you could see that big smile Sweet has got on her face, you would think Larry just said he loves her. Sweets and me been best friends since kindergarten. She goes to the school across town, school for smart girls with attitudes. She likes to say, I could have gone there. My grades were as good as Sweets, better. In fact, only I changed my mind at the last minute. I went to the interview and wanted to answer one question they asked. Mama was so embarrassed. She cried all the way on the subway ride home. I didn't plan it that way. I just froze, I guess. The school is so big, so clean, so fancy, and them girls, they look like they come out of a magazine. Long straight hair, skin the color of potato chip and cashews and Mary Jane candies. No almond joy colored girls like me. No gum smacking, wisecracking girls from my side of town that didn't bother Sweets none. She says she deserves to be in that school as much as anyone. You got the right color skin, I said, poking her fat tan face. It's not about color, she says. It's about how you feel about who you are that counts. She says, twirling around on the toes like a ballerina with bad feet. I'm as good as the Queen of England, the President of the United States, and 10 movie stars all rolled into one. So they better let me in that their school or else, she said, shaking her fist up to the sky. I guess Sweet's attitude paid off. They let her into that high-toned school. Up to last year, Sweets and me did everything together. Now all she does is study. Gotta keep up, she says. Getting straight A's in this school ain't like getting A's in our school, old school. You sweat to get these A's. Gotta half die to keep them. Sweet has been on the phone for a half an hour already. I tell her to cut it. She says to give her 5 more minutes. That really means 15 minutes. So I go back to doing what I'm doing. Looking at the junk I got under my bed. Socks, cards, dust, and earrings. I've been looking for a piece of old hard toast and a mirror I ain't seen for a while. It's a cheap little thing, but Daddy gave it to me a long time ago. Gotta try to hold on to it. It's got a pink plastic handle with a little white bunnies painted on it. I checked my face out in the mirror. That cut from Daphne's ring is gone. Mama says I'm like Daddy. I heal fast. They ain't the only thing Daddy and me got in common. I got his eyes, dark almond-shaped eyes with long, thick black lashes. My lips, they're like Mama's, full and wide. They look like actor lips on TV. I can't think of his name just now, but he's got the kind of lips that make you want to kiss him quick. Soft, smooth, pretty-looking lips. My nose and my ears, I don't know where they came from. They don't look like Mama's or Daddy's. My nose is small and pug. Daddy used to always pinch it when I was little. I'm the same color Daddy was. When I was little, he would come home from work and say, I sure could use me a warm cup of cocoa. That meant for me to give him a big hug and lots of kisses. I liked that. I didn't used to mind being this color. Then kids started teasing me about it, making me feel like something was wrong with how I looked. And when Daddy passed away, that just made things worse. I stare at myself for maybe 20 minutes in Daddy's mirror. I don't get it. I think I'm kind of nice looking. Why don't other people see what I see? I think out of the blue I get an idea. I'm going to cut my hair, cut it real short like the girl on the cover of the magazine laying on my floor. I yell for Sweets to get off the phone. She ain't listening. She's smiling at something Larry just said to her. Off the phone, I yell so he can hear. Off the phone before I tell Larry before I finish the sentence. Sweets is hanging up and hitting me over the head with a pillow. You know that ain't right, she says, whacking me good. I told Sweets I'm gonna cut my hair. Gonna cut it real close. People gonna see I ain't who I used to be, I said. You're gonna cut your hair off like bald, Sweets asked. Well, not that off, but close like this, I say, showing her the picture. Sweets helps me take out my braids and tells me now that I shouldn't be trying nothing like this by myself. If you jack up your hair, you really will look a mess, she says. Then she tells me how her cousin Ronnie just opened up a shop on the avenue. I don't have money to go on to no shop, I tell her. Who says that her cousin did her hair for free last week and all she had to do was sweep up the floor. Sweet calls her cousin for me, and her cousin says, yeah, she will cut my hair, but I had to give her 3 Saturdays worth of work. And I had to bring a note from my mama saying the cut is okay with her. It takes me 2 hours to talk mama into this thing. I don't tell Sweets or mama the real reason I'm doing this, that I want a new look like that model in the magazine, so maybe people will start seeing me differently and treating me differently. Mama and Sweets wouldn't understand me saying nothing like that, so I just keep my mouth shut. While Sweets and I walk to the avenue, Ronnie tells me to leave things to her. She puts a texturizer on my scalp till it loosens up my hair. She washes the texturizer out. When she is finished, it seems like 10,000 tiny black shiny curls was all over my head. Ronnie takes out the clippers, gives me some points on the side and even up the back of my hairline. She says, now you've got to have a little attitude when you wear this cut. You got an attitude, Malika? She asks with her hands on her hip. I look at her and ask what she means. Then a woman comes out from under the dryer. She takes off the clip earrings and asks Ronnie for some alcohol. She cleans some clunky things off and clips them on my ears without even asking me. This is one of those hairdos you strut your stuff in. Sisters wearing these know they're shot, Ronnie says, taking out the clippers and going at my hairline again. I'm looking in the mirror and I can't believe my eyes. I like what I see. You got any lip gloss? She asks me, turn me around in the chair, still checking out my hair. I dig in my pocketbook and pull out some red lipstick from Murphy's drugstore. You're too young to wear lipstick, Ronnie says. She makes me stick my finger in the giant jar of Vaseline she keeps near the mirror, and I rub a little on my lips. When Ronnie is finished, the 3 other hairdressers get all up in my face, and so do some customers. One woman got relaxed cream all over her head. They're all talking about how good I look. Sweets is nodding and smiling and agreeing with everybody. Give me some attitude, Ronnie says, taking off my cap. I have my head down and my arms crossed. Another woman comes out from under the dryer and starts strutting across the floor. Attitude, girl, she says, switching her butt around, dipping and turning like a fashion model. Attitude, Sweet says, getting into the act. Everybody turns and looks at me. I start snapping my fingers and walk around like I'm somebody. I look good. The woman who's giving me her earrings comes over to me and puts her hands on my hips. You gotta shake them hard. Make people know you mean business. I start pushing my hips from side to side, taking long steps and putting my arms out like I'm on a runway someplace. You go, girl, a woman says. Shake it, don't break it. You do look good, Malika, Sweets agrees. That cut is you. A new customer comes into the store and over to Ronnie. The woman with the earrings gets herself back under the dryer and the other lady goes back to getting her relaxer wash. I get Ronnie's broom and start sweeping. On Mondays, Miss Allen, the art teacher, does a double take when I walk into class. I know she wants to ask me what happened, but teachers can't always just come out and ask you stuff like that. Kids, they're different. As soon as I walked into the school building, they were all over me wanting to know why I didn't have no hair. I expect John not to like the cut. I mean, what does he like about me anyhow? Nothing. And I expect Charlize and the twins to say they don't like it, even if they secretly do. In third period, kids really light into me. By fourth period, I'm wearing the best baseball cap I brought from home, just in case. Mr. Klein, the social studies teacher, tells me to take off the hat, but I give some lame excuse and he lets me keep it on. The next thing I know, somebody's yanking off the hat and making cracks about my peanut head. I don't get it. I mean, I look good. I know I do. Desta comes up to me and says I shouldn't let them get to me. I tell her I'll check her later. I go to the bathroom. Nobody is there. Yeah, I look in the mirror and start crying. You know, Malika, I hear myself saying, you can glue on some hair, paint yourself white, come to school wearing a leather coat down to your toes, and know somebody will still say something mean to you. Hurt your feelings. That is how it goes at this school. I walk around that bathroom trying to think of what to do. I start reading some of the stuff on the wall. Shower and worm forever. Wash me. If you like the school, you stupid. I sit myself up on the sinks and think back to Saturday when I got my hair cut. Tears come to my eyes when I put my hands on my head and I feel a little bit of hair. I know I asked for it that looked good at Ronnie's place, but seeing it in the school bathroom is something else. I jump off the sink, lean close to the mirror and on the wall and think of Daddy. Malika, he used to say, you got to see yourself with your own eyes. That's the only way you're going to know who you really are. I reach down in my bag and pull out the little hand mirror Daddy gave me and look at myself real good. My nose is running. I blow it and throw the tissue away. I splash some water on my face, pat it dry. I reach down in my pocketbook and pull out the jar of Vaseline and shine my lips. Then I ball up my cap, stuff in my backpack, and walk right out there. Chapter 10. We need a new alarm clock. Ours rings whenever it wants, 2 in the morning, 10 at night. It don't matter, but you can be sure of one thing. It ain't never gonna ring when it's supposed to. When Mama comes in my room telling me I'm gonna be late if I don't get and move on, I ain't surprised. It's the 3rd time this week I'm late because of that clock. So I just ignore Mama, pull my quilt up over my head, and turn over. Mama does what she always does. She pulls the covers off, threatens to yank down the sheet. I'm up. I sit on the edge of my bed, hands folded, head drooping. My eyes are still closed when Mama goes back downstairs to cook breakfast. I wash up and then I look through my closet for some jeans or something. I push my way past that new shirt Mama made and hope she don't ask me about it. I don't want to hurt her feelings, but one shoulder is higher than the other one. She fixed it 3 times already, but it just ain't working. I don't want to tell her that though. Sweets asks me all the time why don't I just tell my mama I don't want to wear her stuff, but I can't. Mama needs to keep sewing. If she don't, I ain't sure what's gonna happen to her. When I finally get to the kitchen table, the oatmeal's cold and slick, like silly putty. I eat dry toast instead. Mama gives me the once over. She comes and straightens up my turtleneck collar. She made this one too, but the woman across the street helped her with it, so it ain't as bad. Mama is dressed in a blue uniform. Today she got herself some different kind of tea. It smells more like chicken noodle soup to me. She's stirring it, but not drinking it. I kiss her quick on the side of her head. She don't even notice. She's eyeing the newspaper like she does every morning. 2 newspapers are spread open on the kitchen table every once in a while. Pages slide on the floor or get greasy from eggs or bacon Mama eats while she's reading. Mama's always got to know what's happening in the stock market. She sells my clothes to save money so she can play the stock. She thinks we'll be rich one day, but she never invests any money. By the time she gets a few $100s saved here and there, the pipes start leaking and the roof needs fixing. Or Mama gets one of those dreams where some dead relative come back and tell her to play a lottery and pulls all the money on some number they told her about, like 557 or 810 or 119, and never fails. Mama loses all the money every time, but that's the kind of luck we have. Dumb dead relatives who gotta go out of their way to interrupt your good night's sleep to give you a lucky number that only brings you bad luck. Now, who needs that? Mama never gives up, though. She always looked for new ways to make money. She sold Tupperware, magazines, and pretty junk for kitchen walls. We still poor as dirt. A lot of folks think Mama don't have all her marbles. I can tell by the way they talk to her, kind of loud like folks do with crazy people with a smirk on their face like they know a secret she don't. But the joke's on them. Mama's the smartest person in the world. She's a math whiz and can add numbers faster than anybody I know. Sometimes she embarrasses me. She's the type of woman that will put down her groceries and jump rope with 8-year-old kids on the street. She will play stickball with the boys in the neighborhood, argue with the winos on the corner over who's going to win the next election. Sometimes my friends laugh at Mama, but when I start to complain, Sweets and them tell me to shut up. They know, like I do, ain't no one in my neighborhood got a bigger heart than my mama. I blow a kiss to my mama, and I rush past her and head for school. She says in the only French word she knows, Jetta de me, Petty. I love you, my little one. And then she goes back to her stock I hear her mumbling something about Electric stop falling 20 points. I have no idea what that means. Ain't sure Mama does either. McClinton Middle School ain't the kind of place you want the lunch ladies mad at you. No matter how bad the food looks or smells, you best keep your mouth shut. If you don't, you can end up with hair in your spaghetti, pencil shavings in your pizza, pepper in your milk. But something's got into Charlize today. She acts like them lunch ladies won't cause her no trouble. When she goes through the line, she says the hamburger looks like burnt dog doo-doo. Miss Brown, the lunch lady who's serving, don't say nothing. She just clears her throat and runs her hands through her short gray hair. By the time Charlize gets on, there is lettuce in her milk, dried up food on her fork, something indescribable on her hamburger bun. Me and her can't figure out what it is, but we think it used to be alive. I bring my own lunch from home, and I tell Char she can have it. Today I got a bologna sandwich. Char don't want no part of it. She slams her lunch tray down on the table. The whole place gets quiet. They better give me some decent food, she yells, loud enough for the lunch ladies to hear. Miss Brown just keeps stirring pizza and wiping sweat. Move out my way, Char said girl sitting at the table. She don't even give the girl a chance to move before she flicks a handful of them greasy rock hard peas in her face, then dares her to say something about it. The girl knows what's good for her. She wipes the slimy pea juice off her chin and moves on. Serves you right, Char says, drying her wet hands on my backpack. Next time, she'll get out of my way before I ask. They gonna give me what I paid for, Char says. She shoves her lunch tray at me so fast it almost slides off the table. Take it back, Malika. Tell them I want another plate now. I look at Charlize like she's crazy. They won't take it from me. You know that, Char. I say in a dry, shaky voice. Charlize doesn't say nothing at first. She just stares at me without blinking for the longest time. Do I have to jack you up right here in front of everybody? She asked, slapping one of the twins five. I say, you could have my bologna sandwich. I say, but Char turns to me with her hands on her hips and a face that says, I know you ain't talking to me. I don't have no choice. I pick up her tray and get back in line. Seems like 20 kids are in front of me. By the time I get to Miss Brown again, my stomach is growling. Miss Brown ain't smiling one bit when she sees Char's tray. I tell her what the problem is. She says she'll take back the food, only not for me. Char starts yelling at me from way back in the lunchroom. Everybody can hear her. A teacher tells her to shut up, but the teacher can't make sure I stop digging into me. Miss Brown cuts me a break and starts throwing the old food in the trash. I stopped her when she gets into the hamburger bun with that stuff on top. Leave it, I said quietly. She looks like she wants to say something else. Then she waves her hand at me, looks like at the kid in line after me and says, next. Char's yelling, hurry up, Malika. I take the tray with the same old hamburger bun over it to the side of the cabinet there where the ketchup and mustard packs are. I scrape the yuck off the top of the bun, smear on top of Char's burger. Then I squeeze ketchup and mustard on the meat and take the whole thing to Char. So Char snatches the tray out of my hand. She opens up the hamburger bun and picks up the meat. She puts it to her nose and sniffs it like she does all of her food, then drops the burger back on the bun and covers it with the other pizza bread. What, you think she's spitting it? Raina asks. Please, just eat so we can go. Char laughs and takes a big bite. Get lost, Malika, she says with her mouth full. I don't ask no questions. I pick up my lunch bag and head for another table with a big grin on my face. Desda is over in the corner by herself, so I go on and sit with her. Soon as I get there, my sandwich falls out of the paper bag and onto the floor. Mama loves salad oil. She thinks it's good for your heart. Sometimes, like today, she gets a little heavy-handed with it and leaks all over the place. Des leans down and picks up my sandwich and hands it to me. I wipe off the cellophane with the tissue and unwrap it. Start eating it. While my mouth is stuffed with the ham and bread, Caleb comes over and starts telling me how good I look. Oil is oozing out the sides of my mouth and as quick as I can wipe it off. Caleb don't seem to notice. He just keeps right on talking. I need to talk to you, Malika, he says, taking a napkin and wiping some oil off my chin. I'll tell Caleb I got to talk to him some other time, that me and Des are going over homework right now. He says he'll talk to me later. He heads out of the lunchroom. Charlize stops him before he goes. She's all up in his face. He doesn't pay her no mind. He just keeps on stepping. Sometimes I can't help but wonder if Charlize wants Caleb because she knows he wants me. Desda acts like I really meant what she said about me doing her work. She starts asking me if I've done the math homework, which I haven't, of course. They don't stop Desda. She pulls out the homework and anyhow and asks me 10,000 questions about the math problems. They are easy as pie, and I tell her so. But before I know it, I'm doing the work for her. If the homework was so easy, why didn't you do it last night? She wants to know. Don't go there, I said. I worked on them problems for 3 hours straight, Deza said, stuffing chips in her mouth. After that, I finally gave up and started watching TV. Deza homework paper starts to spot from her greasy fingers. 20 minutes later, we head for the door. Char's still sitting at the front of the cafeteria. Words are crowding around her, so that all you can see is the purple shoes of her and that tight black designer skirt. When she stands up to leave, one boy puts his arm around her waist and whispers something in her ear. She laughs, but you can tell she's faking it. She puts on her sunglasses and walks towards the door, with the boys following her like she's a movie star. Before she leaves, she looks over my way and pulls her glasses down past her nose so they are leaning on her top lip. She stares me down, then whispers something to one of them and keeps stepping. Ignore her, Deza said. The next thing I know, Race is coming my way. Sean wants to know if you're done with her math. I reached into my book bag and pulled out some papers, and Shar and them are in a different math class than me. Class for kids who don't have a clue what's going on. I hand the homework to Race. I didn't have time to do the social study, I said, lying through my teeth. Social study paper is still in my bag. It's the first time I don't give Char what she asked for. Did you do mine? And my sister's words once again, and the other math papers to her. As we leave the lunchroom, Deza says I shouldn't do nothing for them. Yeah, right, I say. Chapter 12. The next day, I'm waiting in the bathroom. Seems like forever. No Char. She's punishing me for getting out of my place yesterday, I guess. When Char says come, you come. When she says do this for me, you do it, or else bad stuff happen. And again, Char, her social studies homework yesterday, so no clothes for me today. Now I gotta go to class in Mama's things, or wear the clothes Char gave me yesterday. I got them here in my bag. They're folded in a small bag of bread. They're wrinkled worse than Kayla's grandma's face, though. I don't have much of a choice, so I keep on my own bad clothes. I stretch my arms toward the mirror. Not bad, sleeves even, buttons sewed on straight. The seam down the shirt sleeve is crooked is all. Could be worse. I think maybe I'll skip class. Miss Saunders gave me this here book the other day, Life of a Slave Girl, it's called. She said maybe it would help me with my writing. I've already read it twice. I stayed up all night reading it 2 days ago. I read it with a flashlight under the cover so Mama wouldn't holler. That book made me cry. It made me think about Akilma and what was waiting for her once the boat docked. Well, I'm still deciding if I'm going to skip class. I tell myself that I'm only going to read Life of a Slave Girl for 5 minutes. Next thing I know, the late bell is ringing. I'm shoving that book in my book bag and running down the hall. Walk, Miss Madison, a teacher says to me, and pick up that paper you just dropped. Good thing nobody sees with my paper. It's another one of Akilma's letters. Dear Diary, when you're hungry, really hungry, even mush crawling with maggots tastes good. So I can't help licking my lips when that girl puts the last fingerful of my food in her mouth. A thief that one is. Yesterday I grabbed her hands and tried to take back what's mine. It fell to the floor and someone else scooped it up. She is a lion who cares for no one but herself. Akilma. I'm almost to Miss Sanders' room when John McIntyre starts out with me. New clothes, huh? He says, trying to be smart. I stopped talking and turned to him and asked real smart like, why you always picking on me? I ain't sure what's come over me. I guess thinking about Akilma makes me wonder why people treat others like they're nothing. Chill, Malika, John says, striding down the hall alongside me. He gets quiet and I hear his big sneakers squeaking every time they hit the floor. And I say something that surprises us both. Why me? He knows what I'm asking. He keeps on stepping. Why do you hate me? I ask, looking right at John. His cheek twitches. You bugging, girl, he says. I look at him like he's crazy. John's been hating me all of my life, it seems. Now he's sitting here denying it. I don't think nothing about you, he says, jerking up his pants. Seemed like nobody in this hall but me and John. Only there are plenty of kids around, pushing and shoving one another out of the way. Teachers are trying their best to move all the kids along, but it ain't working so good. That song you sing about me ain't right, John, I say. It just ain't right. So what? You ain't all that, you know. All what, I want to ask, but John don't give me a chance. He says I got what I deserve on the bus that day. He said since the first time he met me, I acted like I was better than him. I'm looking at John like I ain't never seen him before. Better than him? When I do that, he says something stupid crazy. Says it was back in second grade when I first moved to the Heights. I walked into class first day with my new pink polka dot dress and on black platinum leather shoes. The teacher told me to sit in the desk next to his. I said I didn't want to. I wanted to sit in the front, and the one up front next to Caleb. That half-white punk, John says, knowing full well Caleb ain't mixed. Now my mouth hanging open. I didn't even know Caleb back then. I said, I want to sit up front because I couldn't see the board, I explained. Looking at John, I could tell him, you hated me all these years for something I didn't even do. No matter, he says, you give me plenty of reason not to like you since then. Thinking you super smart, acting like you too good for me. I tell John how things really is. I'm failing all my classes. Sharp's on my case all the time. I gotta borrow clothes to look like somebody. Good, John says. You always thought you was better than me. Now look at you. You just as bad off as the rest of us. Worse, maybe. Caleb don't want no part of you now, I bet. Now John bobbing his head up and down, laughing like the whole thing is funny. John looks at me like I'm dirt or something. I swallow hard. I think back about what Daddy once said about not seeing yourself with other people's eyes. I keep on stepping. When I open the door to Miss Saunders' room, John's right behind me. For once, Miss Saunders not getting on my case about being late. Then it hits me. John McIntyre is jealous of me. But why? I sit there for about 5 minutes trying to figure this thing out with John before I notice Miss Saunders ain't there. It seemed Worm with his narrow butt parked on Daphne's desk. That makes me know something's not right. When I look up front, nobody's there but 2 kids drawn on the board. I guess Miss Saunders is sick, all right. His substitute is saying no work today. Before I can even smile about it, Miss Saunders comes flying into the room. Sorry I'm late, she says out of breath. I'm sorry you're here, I whispered. Chapter 13. Why do teachers tell you stuff you don't want to hear? Like how wonderful their children are, or how big their house is, or what a quiet, pretty neighborhood they live in. It's Miss Saunders' turn, I guess. She comes in telling us she's late because her toilet ran over. She had to clean her white carpets before they got stained. Like we really care. She presses her hands against her gray pinstripe pantsuit, then pulls the jacket sleeves down. No gold bracelet today, just a watch on one arm and a dingle necklace around her neck. Miss Saunders is a motion machine this morning. She sets down her briefcase, throws her black bag into the closet up front, slaps her hands together like a giant paddles, and tells everybody to get quiet. Then she fans herself with her hand. My landlord had to come over. She's opening and closing drawers, looking for who knows what. I'm never late, you guys. You know that. Now she's fingering the chalk, pacing the room. There's sweat on her face. She leans herself against the desk and rubs her chin like she's trying to find the lost words. Well, let's get started, she says, not even seeing what we all see up there on the blackboard. Who can tell me what Shakespeare meant when she finally getting a good look at our faces? Everybody's quiet. Who read the 30 pages that I signed last night? Miss Saunders asks. And listen, the hands go up, including mine, even though I didn't read none of it. Then let's get to work, she says, heading for the blackboard. When Miss Saunders sees what somebody's drawn, she stops in her track, like she's been hit in the stomach. There's a woman there on the blackboard. The left side is smooth and pretty. The right side is cracked up, drooping like melting wax. It's done in pink, brown, and blue. It's a mess. All I can say. The teacher with 2 faces, wiggly words, spelled it out in the blue chalk. Miss Saunders' big hands erased the board with 4 quick swipes, like a windshield wiper on full speed. Who can sum up yesterday's reading for me? John McIntyre, she says, his name real weird, like maybe she ain't asking him about schoolwork, but accusing him of drawing the picture. We all stare at John. I know he didn't draw the picture. He came into class after me. Miss Saunders carries on with her lesson. Tell me about today's reading assignment. What would you do if you were Romeo and you loved this girl you couldn't have? Dump her, John says, staring right at me. Why sweat it? There's plenty of girls out there. Everybody laughed. John, you would not, Carrie Miller says. If you ever got a girl to like you, and we all know that ain't ever gonna happen, you'll sell your skin to keep her. Miss Saunders slaps her hands together to get off the chalk and asks Carrie to hold her thought. Next thing you know, Miss Saunders is sitting on the corner of Carrie's desk, crossing her legs. Let John tell his story his way. But John, remember, this is the love of your life. Her folks are trying to keep you apart because you're not good enough, so they say. Nobody wants to talk about this stuff, I say, half under my breath. Miss Saunders stopped walking in the classroom aisle. What do you want to talk about? She asks us. Why Malika's so black? John says. Miss Saunders' eyes shoot his way. Her smile is gone. Her arms are folded. Sorry, John says, shrugging and folding his arms too. Out of my room, John. Miss Saunders point to the door. But nothing, she says. Man, I'm thinking, why can't she just let it go? Forget about it. Don't she see dragging it out only makes it worse? Next thing I know, John's faking an apology to me, mumbling that he's sorry. Okay, everybody, let's get things back on track, Miss Saunders says. Romeo and Juliet, give me your thoughts, she says, unbuttoning her suit jacket. Romeo and Juliet didn't play the rules by the rules. People had expectations for them, wanted them to act and be a certain way, but they refused. Yeah, and they died anyhow, Worm shouted from the back. So what is your point? You tell me. Anybody here believe strongly enough to die for something or somebody? My homies, Eric yells. I gave up blood for one of my boys. My mama, shout Desda. Nobody, says Jeremy. Ain't doing no dying for nobody but me. It's cold but true. Don't love nobody as much as my own fine black self, he says, kissing his arms from shoulder to fingertip. Now everybody's cracking up, including Miss Saunders. Yeah, Jeremy loves himself. Some Jeremy, Raina says. Jeremy starts rubbing his cheeks. You gotta love yourself, baby. If you don't, who will? Romeo loved Juliet. My father loves my mother. People love other people, Desda said. But when they're gone, who's gonna love you? When Romeo died, Juliet killed her stupid self. She loved him more than her own self. Now, that make sense? Jeremy said. Miss Saunders is on the other side of the room now. She's standing right next to Jeremy. You're saying we shouldn't love people so much? No, I'm saying if you love someone, if you love yourself more than you love me, you'll be taking good care of you, and you won't try to do me in, because that's just gonna cause problems for you. People who love who they are ain't gonna make unnecessary trouble for themselves. Get it? Go ahead, Mr. Philosopher, preach, John John said, slapping him hard. Can we get back to Romeo and Juliet? I said, just to shut him up, but John John interrupts again. You probably didn't even read the book. When you always act on Malika's case, John John, Jeremy asks. Shut up, John John says. Make me, Jeremy says, getting out his seat. I'm smiling big time. John John is getting a taste of some of his own stuff. I like that. The period's almost over, and you two ding-dongs are wasting time, Worm says. Everybody looks at Worm like he's crazy. Since when did he care about stuff like Romeo and Juliet? Be quiet and let someone else talk, Harry says. I wish somebody would kill themselves over me, Desda says. I'd kill myself if I had to kiss those crusty lips, John John butts in. I mean, ain't that the most romantic thing in the world? Somebody who can't live without you, Desda goes on, ignoring John John. No, I said before I think about it, it ain't. I start chewing on my lip, trying to figure out my way out of this, but everybody's looking. I keep on talking. When my daddy died 3 years ago, my mama fell apart. She couldn't eat, she couldn't sleep. She stayed up all night long, washing and scrubbing until her hands were raw. I sighed, chewing on my finger. The class gets so quiet, it's scary. I was 10 years old and brushing her teeth, feeding her oatmeal like a baby. She cried all the time. Last year, she finally came to. Got up one day and went out and bought a sewing machine and started making clothes. Ain't never sewed nothing before, just started that day and night sewing. Some kids at the back of the room started to snicker and make smart remarks. Shut up, I'm thinking, just shut up. The more she sewed them clothes, the better she got. She started picking up after herself, got a job and all. No, ain't nothing good from loving somebody so much you can't live without them, I say. No good at all. Marla asked me why nobody in our family came to help me and my mama when my daddy died. Marla asked why nobody in our family came to help me and Mama out when Daddy died. I said that we don't have no relatives, but that ain't the truth. Mama's got a sister in New York. Daddy has brothers all over the place, but they weren't close. And getting in touch with them would have meant taking me away or putting Mama in some institution someplace. I wasn't having that, so we lived off Daddy's Social Security and savings. The classroom gets quiet again. Then the bell rings, busting up the silence like a fist through glass. Chapter 14. A few days later, I'm hanging out with Shar and the twins. Shar told me I better show up if I know what's good for me. She says she don't like how I'm acting lately. We're gonna do her homework, giving her too much lip. She right, I'm pushing my luck with her, but maybe I can learn to hang with Shar and get along with her too. Fighting her ain't no use. Look where it got me the last time in the lunchroom. I'm tired of working in the school office. It's been a few weeks now, and I'm still bored stiff. I want to have some fun, so after 5th period, instead of going to the office to work, I head to the lockers with Shar, Raina, and Ray's. And who do you run into but Miss Sanders, who's on hall duty? The first thing Miss Sanders does is ask me how work is coming in the office. Then she says, I guess you're headed there now. You are working there today, right? Shar stays cool for once, and she and the twins start walking ahead of Miss Saunders and me. I'm on my way, I say, turning back around and walking up the hall towards the office. Miss Saunders tells Shar and the twins they better hurry up to class or they'll They will have to get a late note to get in. Shar says something smart and keeps stepping. A moment later, I hear the school side exit door closing. Miss Under walks me to the office like I'm some baby. She's dressed to the nines like usual. She's got on gold hoop earrings with dolphins jumping through them, and she's making small talk, asking how I am, asking if I read her latest assignment. That designer suit you're wearing, I ask, knowing full well it is. Miss Under's fingers the collar. I think so. You think so? You don't know? Yes, it is, Malika, she says, kind of smart. Real teachers can't afford designer suits, I say, before I really think about what I'm saying. I wore suits for my job at the ad agency. Suits are kind of like a uniform, I guess. My mom wears a uniform to work. What you got on ain't no uniform. Miss Sanders nods. I think if I was wearing my own clothes, I would feel like 2 cents next to her. But I'm in Char's stuff, so I'm holding my own. What What are you doing here, Miss Saunders? At McClinton, I ask. While we walk, Miss Saunders stops every once in a while and picks up gum wrapper or a soda can tab. I want to teach, she says, plain as day. Then how come you're not at the Catholic school 10 blocks from here, one of them private schools downtown? Miss Saunders doesn't say nothing. She's just walking slow, like I got all day. Teachers don't come here because they want to. They get dumped here because they goofed up or someplace else. Usually except Ty maybe, but you know she's weird. She wanted to come to McClinton, and I tell her. Then Miss Saunders gives me a trick question that I expected. Why are you here? What? I fold my arms tight in front of me. Why are you here? She asks again. I checked your records. Last year you passed the test for Central Middle School across town. You checked my records? I checked all my students' records. In business, you always learn about your clients, who they are, and what makes them tick. It helps you do a better job. It's the same with teaching. You know your clients. It bothers me that Miss Sanders knows all my business. You know about us kids, but we don't know nothing about you except where you came from before you got here, that you like suits and jewelry, and that you was born with that face. Miss Saunders says there's nothing much to know about her. She's single. She doesn't have any kids. She was working 18-hour days and traveling the country all the time. When she turned 40, she didn't want to do it anymore. 6 months later, she found out about the school board's new plan to let executives teach in school. You gave that up to come here? I asked, reaching down and picking up a broken pen. The business world can be very competitive, Miss Saunders says. I was always trying to outthink, outperform, even outdress my competitors. It was wearing me down. Well, you're the best dressed one in this place, I say. Miss Saunders reaches for the top button on her suit. You think you ever going back, Miss Saunders, back to working in a big company? I ask. Miss Saunders shakes her head. No, I think teaching is it for me. You won't miss the money and stuff like that. She shakes her head a second time. We turn the corner and I go into the office. Miss Saunders walks in and throws trash into the garbage can by the floor and keeps on going. It's the first time me and her been together without things falling apart. Chapter 15. Miss Saunders has really got all the other teachers stirred up, except for Ty. Most of them don't like her. They say Mr. Pajoli's sucking up to her so that maybe her company will donate lots of money to the school. Maybe even get us some computers and a new library. All of this makes the other teachers resent Miss Saunders even more. In the office, the teachers never say her name. They just say, she did this and she did that. I hate pushy people, Miss Benson, the English teacher, is saying when she comes into the office with Mr. Pajoli. Every day she's coming to me with some new idea she came up with, questioning why things can't be done differently. Mr. Pajoli tries to quiet Miss Benson down, but she just gets louder. Her face grows red. Raising her finger to him, she says, You get her in line, Charles. She's disrupting everything. Everything. Mr. Pajoli's nodding while his eyes go over the messages Miss Carroll hands him. That's the third parent call to complain this week. Too much homework, too much reading, Miss Carroll says. A big smile comes over Miss Benson's face. Don't tell me. Let me guess who they're complaining about. Mr. Pajoli scratches his bald head. He's let out a deep breath and says he'll take care of things. Then the phone rings. Yes, he's here. Miss Carroll presses down the whole button and someone else is calling for your favorite person. Mr. Pajoli clicked his false teeth together. Send it back to my office, he tells Miss Carroll. Miss Benson touches up the edges of her lipstick with her finger and walks off humming. Miss Carroll tells me to get back to work and stop being nosy. I go and staple papers together over in the corner. It's good to see teachers getting in as much trouble as kids sometimes. The office is a busy place. Folks come and go like this is a bus stop on the corner. As soon as I get a few papers stapled, here comes someone else wanting something. This time it's Desta. Hey, Malika, I need me a note to get in class. I've been to the den, she says, pulling out a balled up piece of paper with some writing on it. I looked in Miss Carroll's direction. She's heading over to give Desta what she needs. While she's doing that, here comes Charlize. I don't see the twins nowhere. Charlize, shouldn't you be in class? Miss Carroll asks, still tending to Desta. In a minute. In a minute, Char snaps, waving for me to come to the other end of the counter. Miss Carroll's voice is squeaky and high pitched like a wheel that needs some oil. Charlize Jones, I don't know what you're thinking is going on here, but Malika is doing a job for the principal, and you, young lady, had better hightail it to class. Char just slaps at Miss Carroll. You act like Malika is working for the President of the United States, man. Miss Carroll shoves the note over to Desta. All right now, get to class. Desta's looking at me like I did something wrong. Charlize takes out a stick of gum and pushes it into her mouth real slow. Miss Carroll looked like she's going to go off on her. Then out comes Mr. Pajoli. Hello, Mr. P, Char says in a sweet baby voice. You think maybe one day I can work in here too? Maybe answer the phone or something? Char stands there in her skin-tight striped pantsuit with her finger in her mouth like a 2-year-old. Mr. Pajoli knows Char ain't the least bit like that for real. Sure, Charlize, you may start working in the office as soon as you pay the fines for the 3 library books and 2 math books you lost last year. Char starts arguing with Mr. Pacholi about how she ain't never had those things and how everybody is out to get her. Anyhow, she says, I ain't no slave. If I work for somebody, there's got to be some dollars involved. Mr. Pajoli tells Char to move along to get to class. For what? She says, heading out. All these teachers is boring me to death. Mr. Pajoli asks her what class she has now. Math with Ty, Char says. Nobody can be bored in her class unless they want to be, Mr. Pajoli says, walking out with her. Mr. Pacholi is right too. Ty is funny. She meditates a lot, so during her class break, it ain't unusual to see her sitting on the desk with her legs folded and her arms crossed. She's different, but she can teach. I used to get all A's in Todd's class last year. Since I got this office gig, Todd been bugging me about keeping up my average. She came right in here yesterday and asked me where my homework was. Mr. Pajoli was standing right at the desk too. I lied and said it was in my locker. Ty asked Mr. Pajoli if it was okay for me to go get it. Then I had to fess up and tell her I forgot to do it. She asked Mr. Pajoli if it's okay for me to use my office time to do my math homework. He said yeah, that I have to make up the time later. Teachers don't do nothing but cause you grief. I swear that's all they do. Chapter 16. You get soft, Malika, I say. You getting soft, Malika, I say to myself. It's Saturday morning and I've been up 2 hours already writing this stuff for Miss Sanders. If Char or the twins knew about this, they would think I was out of my mind. Doing schoolwork on the weekend for fun? Mama's trying to work me to death today, too. She got me washing windows and clothes and everything else. I tell her I have to do homework. That's the only thing that got me off the hook for now. So here I am trying to think of something up before I head to Char's. It's coming slow, but it's coming. Dear Diary, the sea is wild and mean. Water is crashing against the boat like 100 angry lions. My body is wet with sweat and throw up from the others pressing close around me like sticks of firewood. They chain us together like these and beat us till we bleed. I made up my mind, though. I will show no weakness. I will be strong, strong like the sea in the wind. Akilma. I finished writing through the paper in my drawer and run out the house. Mama don't know I'm headed for Char's place. She wouldn't like it. She says Char's sister Juju lets Char do anything she wants. Lets her run wild. Mama's right about that. Just before I'm about to leave, Sweet calls. She asks why I'm going to Char's if I'm trying to shake Char loose. I'm bored, I tell her. I don't want to go to the avenue or hang out here at home. Besides, Char asked me to come over. Her sis got some new things. I was going to say no, but then she mentioned something about black and gold skirt set. I can hear Sweet listening on the other end of the phone. She doesn't say much before she hangs up. I thought I would be at Char's by 1 o'clock, but Mama keeps finding things for me to do. I have to clean out the cabinet, sweep, and take clothes to the wash at the laundromat. I swear Mama thinks I'm her slave. She don't even want to pay me a little something for doing so many chores. She says it's my house too, and that I have to be glad to help. When 4 o'clock comes, I'm knocking on the Char's door. Can't nobody hear me, though. The music is too loud. Some African stuff is playing. Drums are beating. Singers are making animal noises. Maracas are shaking. I push open the broken screen door and go inside. Juju is jamming. Her and about 10 other people are dancing. They're rubbing up on one another. When I'm halfway across the room, a man with dreadlocks down to his belt jumps in front of me and says, "Come down with that little sister." Then he starts moving like he's a snake. I shake my head and run up to the steps. Juju tells the dreadlock brother to turn up the music and leave me alone. The music gets louder, so do the pots and stick people are banging on. I'm thinking that the party's just started, but Shar says it's just finishing up from last night. I asked her how she slept through all night. She says she ain't been to sleep yet, that she get paid big bucks for Juju to keep glasses clean, ashtrays empty, and food coming. I don't want missing sleep for $100, she says, waving the money in my face. Juju's parties are all the same, 2-3 times a month. People come from all over to go to her parties. Shar and I find a place to talk upstairs, one of the empty bedrooms. I tell Shar I couldn't stand being around so many strangers all the time. Shar says I'm a wimp and that it ain't got nothing for her to wake up and find something she ain't never seen use find somebody she ain't never seen using her bathroom 2 days after the party's done. Folks like being around Juju, she says. Don't they work? I ask. Some do, some don't, she says, matter of factly. Juju don't care as long as they pay to get in the party. She ain't giving nobody nothing for free. Shake my head, I'm thinking, ain't no way I could live like this. Cigarette smoke burning your eyes, the house smelling like old chicken grease, stranger passed out on your living room floor. None of it bothers Shar. As long as she's looking fine, she's alright. But today she don't look so hot. She's got dark circles under her eyes and her hair's all over her head. You look like you've been sleeping already, I say, picking lint out of her hair. She pushes my hand away. I caught me a few winks about an hour ago. Juju didn't even miss me. If she did, I would be in real trouble. She says she don't pay me to sleep. Then Char lets out a giant yarn. She lays herself across the bed. I want to tell her I didn't come here to watch her sleep, but I feel sorry for her. So I just sit in the chair watching her nod off, but before Charlize can get to sleep good, Juju yells at the top of her lungs, Charlize! What am I paying you for, girl? Get yourself down here now! Charlize jumps up and runs down the stairs, Juju yelling and screaming at her in front of everybody. I keep asking myself, why is Char taking that from her? Then I remember that Char hasn't got nobody but Juju. Juju's only 25. I sit upstairs by myself for a long while, too scared to go downstairs. Finally, I tell myself to get on out of here. When I do get the courage to go downstairs, it's still in my house. Char's running around. People are lined up at the door trying to get in the house. Strangers are asking me where the bathroom is and how come there ain't no toilet paper. I don't tell Char I'm going. I just walk out the door. Last I seen, Char was rubbing her eyes and handing out drinks. Juju was shaking her hips and smoking cigarettes and yelling for somebody to turn up the music. Chapter 27. As soon as I get to the street, 2 boys I ain't never seen before start hassling me. Hey, Beanpole, one of them said. You mean Black Bean, his friend yells. Across the street, some lady yells, y'all leave that girl be! That just makes the 2 boys tease me more. But I ignore them and keep on walking. Soon I'm halfway home. I'm getting hot, so I take my jacket off and sit myself down on some steps to cool off. Most of the houses on that block are vacant. I'm sitting on the curb and imagining what this street would look like if I picked up the trash and gutted some of the buildings. Then I look down the street. Here come the 2 boys who bother me. I get up and start walking as fast as I can. I keep putting my fingers in my mouth, even scraping off my nail polish across the street, even when I don't have to. They keep coming. I like a girl with long legs, one of them says, catching up to me. A sweet chocolate brown baby with long legs. One of the boys is wearing biker pants. He laughs and starts walking past her. I walk fast too, baby, 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 he says. You my kind of woman. Then he gets in front of me. His friend is behind me. He's dressed in big drooping pants that show his underwear. Give me a little kiss, he says, right here on my soft, juicy lips. His friend twists my hand behind my back. I yell for him to let go, but he doesn't. He's big, he got muscles, his neck and everywhere else. Give my friend a little kiss, he says, pushing me toward the other kid. I tell them to leave me alone. I tell them my dad's a cop and he will lock them up. They don't care. They are having fun. The little boy with the biker pants says that if I just give him a kiss, he'll leave me be. I want to see what you taste like, is all. No, I yell, but nobody can hear me. Ain't nothing alive on this block except mangy cats and stray dogs, and they look like they want to jack me up too. My heart is beating so fast I can't breathe. I ain't playing, I said, trying to pull loose from the big one with the droopy pants. You pretty black thing, the biker pants kid says. I ain't gonna hurt you. Then he closes in on me. Tears come running down my face. My head is shaking. No, his friend is laughing, shoving me closer. I want to scratch his eyes out, only I can't get my hand loose. Next thing I know, the biker pants guy is standing over me, his breath smelling like green peppers and garlic. I'm crying, thinking what to tell my mom, and she will be mad at me for walking down a street where nobody lives. Hate the guy who's holding me. He looks like he wants to scream. He lets up from one lets up on my hand for 1 second while he's yelling for the other kid to hurry up. I dig my fingernails into that other boy's stomach and hang on tight like a crab. He hits me so hard a knot starts to swell on my arm. Then he puts his hand over my mouth. My heart about to beat me up inside. I open my mouth, grab hold of his hand with my teeth like a mad dog, and don't let go. He's trying to put his fingers free, but I can't. He's screaming for me to let him go, but I hang on. He's punching me upside the head, screaming and punching until finally I set him free. You black thing, he says, put up his big fist like he wants to slam me again. My big teeth mark have a dent on his hands. He starts loosening his belt with his good hand. Forget it, man, the other one says. She ain't worth it. He shoves me hard. Next time we see you, better run, he says. I don't give those evil kids no second chance. I run like the wind. I run and I run and run till I can't breathe no more. When I'm almost home, I sit down on some steps near my house and cry. My whole body is shaking and seems like it won't ever stop. Tears and snot are running down my face. No more back streets, fool. I tell myself when I'm just about home, I run to Sweet. She's headed to the corner store to buy her dad some snow. I tell her what happened. Please don't tell my mama, I beg. Sweet agrees. She gives me a sorry look. I know she knows all this happened because I had to be around Char, but she says she'll keep quiet anyway. She gives me a used tissue to wipe my face clean. I don't have no choice but to take the tissue. I can't let Mama see me like this, but by the time I get home, I don't look so bad. I tell Mama that some boy was picking on me, but I don't go into no real detail. Mama studied me for a long time. You better be careful out there, she says, setting a plate of pinto beans, rice, and pork chops down on the table. I rub my sore arm and try to scoop some beans and rice in my mouth, but my throat won't swallow them down without a struggle. I ain't that hungry, I said, leaving the table before Mama can say anything. I'm going to my room and cry myself to sleep. Chapter 18. It's been a month now, and all I can think about is that thing with those boys. Mama's been saying I got my head in the clouds. She keeps asking if I'm in love or something. Spend a lot of time in my room. I don't even talk on the phone, not even to Sweets. Mostly I'm thinking and writing in my diary. Our diary, Kilman's and mine. Lately, it's hard to know where Kilman's thoughts begin and mine end. I mean, I might be starting off with her talking about how scared she is with the smallpox spreading around the ship, killing people. Then I end up saying the same paragraph with a Kilma saying she's scared that maybe people will always think she's ugly, but I'm really talking about myself. Scared people will always think I'm ugly. Miss Saunders says it's good that I'm getting so close to Kilma. Good writers get close to their characters, Miss Saunders says. I even written in our diary about the things with the boys, only it ain't me, the stuff it's happening to Kilma. She's on the boat, on the deck when the men running the ship come after her. Dear diary, where do you run when there's no place to run? They had me trapped. I could see no way out. Then I scratched one on the face, spit the other on his fat, dirty hand. And when I was running to hide deep in the crowd up there, I saw someone I knew. It's Kinjari. Kinjari is not dead. I showed this last part to Miss Sanders. She said, this is power stuff. Right now it's clearly one of your Gizmo-lika, she said. I thought it sounded stupid, but when I was leaving Miss Sanders' room, I hugged them papers to my chest like they was some boy I've been wanting to press up against for weeks. It feels good doing something not everybody can do, Mama's got a saying. Don't go getting full of yourself, because as soon as you do, somebody's going to come and let the wind out of yourselves. Today, that somebody is Char. She sees me walking down the hall like I'm wearing clouds for shoes. Why you look all stupid, she asks, plucking me upside the head like a dummy. I tell her about Miss Saunders and my work. Soon as the words are out, I want to kill myself. I said I wasn't telling nobody about this. Now look what I did. You Miss Saunders' pet anyhow, Char said, sticking gum in her mouth. She's got you that job in the office just to keep you away from me, I bet. I start to tell Char that ain't so, but she don't want to listen. We're hanging out in the bathroom next period. You coming? She asked. How to work? I said. That's what good little slaves do, obey their masters, right? Char really knew what girls like Kilma went through. She wouldn't be talking down slaves. You going to be a slave or your own master? Char asks, crossing arms. If I was my own master, I wouldn't ever speak to you again, I want to say. But instead, I just tell Char I'll see her later. You better be there, she says, walking off. She's halfway down the hall when I hear Worm call her name and see him running to catch up with her. Worm is sliding his arm around Char's shoulder. She yanks it off like he's got a body odor. Now that Char has finally stole Worm away from Daphne, she doesn't even want him anymore. That's how she is sometimey. Ain't no real choice when you think about it. Hanging with Char and them in the bathroom is more fun than stapling papers in school office. So when I open the bathroom door, I put all that stuff about Kima and Miss Anderson in the office out of my head. Hanging out in the bathroom is a party time, Char likes to say. So I go in there ready to have a good time. I scoop myself up on the sink and kick up off my shoes. Char gets up in the mirror and puts on another coat of mascara. She and the twins, Race and Raina, laugh. They're talking about Worm and some other boys I don't care nothing about. I smile and act like I'm listening. Next thing I know, I'm reading one of Kilma's letters. Char asks what I'm up to. I tell her nothing. She grabs my stuff so hard my books fall on the floor. Malika's tripping on that slave stuff again, Char said, taking out a cigarette lighter and setting one of my pages on fire. I can feel my ears burning hot with anger. I blow out the burning papers. Why does Malika got to be with us anyhow? Raina asked, putting lipstick on for the third time. Malika is corny and ugly. Ray sticks her face in the mirror right alongside her sister and match and said, it used to be fun watching Malika half kill herself, learning to smoke. Raina says, cutting her eyes at me. But Malika's just a pain now, says Raze. Raze and Raina pulled back the mirror at the same time. They both puff up their hair and scratch the same side of their necks at once. Char says the only reason she lets me hang with her first place is to get her grades up. It seems like it's been forever and they ain't up yet, Raina says. Char shakes her head and smiles. You're right, Raina. I'm thinking about letting her go anyhow. Char is talking like I ain't even there. Only I can't cut her loose yet. We got that big book report due in social studies. After that, your history girl. Now Char is looking my way. Raina's still on my case. Malika, ever since you got that new hair, do you think you're something? Don't you, Miss Baldy? She says. I don't laugh. I look at her like she's on my last nerve. Next thing I know, cigarette smoke is everywhere and Ray is showing us how to do some new dance. Char asks me to hold her cigarette. She digs in her purse and takes out a marker. She writes her name in big black letters on the wall. Noticing Charlize Jones. All of a sudden, Miss Saunders comes busting into the bathroom like she's a cop. All right, she says. Dag, Ray says. Why you always gotta be ruining stuff, Miss Saunders? Charlize is pissed. This is the third time Miss Saunders has busted her in the bathroom this month. Miss Saunders comes over to me and yanks the cigarette out of my hand. I'm surprised to see you here, Malika, she says, flushing the cigarette down the toilet. Then she rubs her hands on her slacks. Malika ain't no goody two-shoes like you're trying to make her out to be, Miss Sanders, Char says, putting her arm around my shoulder. Her and me done all kinds of things together. Save it, Char, Miss Sanders says, moving up to where I'm standing. She accidentally bumps Charlie's arm and makes her drop her lipstick on the floor. Lipstick lands right on its tip. You did that on purpose, Charlotte yells as she gets up on her toes up in Miss Sanders' face, but Miss Sanders gets as serious as a heart attack. I'm not a child. I do not play games with children, she says, staring hard at Char. Char tries to stare down Miss Sanders, only you can tell Miss Sanders ain't backing off. That lipstick cost me $20. It's designer stuff. I want my money, Char says. When Miss Sanders tells us all to get to the office, there's no mistaking that she means business. She tells everybody to walk a few steps ahead of me and her. Miss Saunders is harder on me than anybody else. She grabs me by the arm and pulls me off near the lockers. I'm looking at her like she better get off me. Yeah, she has a second thought about what she's doing because she turns my arm loose and starts giving me one of her speeches, talking about how well I was doing in class and working in the office, telling me I need to treat my friends better. When we walk into the office, Miss Carol and Maxine act like they haven't even noticed Charlize or the twins. They have sure noticed me, and I swear I can see the corner of Maxine's mouth go up like she's holding back a smirk. A teacher standing in the office asks what's happening. Miss Saunders says we were cutting class in the bathroom, smoking, destroying property. Dag, I'm thinking. It wasn't like Char was ripping out the sink. She was just writing her name on the wall with a marker, just letting people know she'd been there. Chapter 19. Dear Diary, they took us up top today. I cried when the sun touched my face. It's been a long time since I've seen it. Others, they jumped and ran and laughed like they was free. I sat down in a corner by myself. I stared at the sun and shut my eyes tight. I wanted to hold on to the sun for as long as I can, to save up the picture for when I'm below again and need to remember the sun is always shining. I squeeze my eyes closed till I see stars. When I open them again, Kanjari is there. The school detention room is in the basement next to the boiler room, damp, cramped, hot. Nothing but desks and chairs with Miss Birdie, detention teacher. Even when it's snowing out, you can go sleepless in there and still be sweating. It ain't no different. It's hot. I'm sweating, and it ain't nobody's fault but Miss Sanders. So here I am writing in my diary, trying to see the sun. I'm supposed to be doing English homework. Miss Sanders gave me 25 pages to read in 2 days, and I don't get too far with it, though. Caleb comes into the detention room making noise. He's excusing himself all the way across the room, squeezing between desks, knocking over books. You think a boy that has been the president of the class and student representative on the PTA would know how to walk into that room. I hope that he will sit up front. No such luck. He plops down 2 seats away from me and starts talking before he's seated. Hey, he says with a long, soft voice of his. I stretch my legs out till they're even with the front legs of the chair in front of mine. What are you doing here? I ask. Mr. P put me in here, he says. I was doing the boys' bathroom. For a while, just doodled on the edges of my paper, but I can't help asking, doing what in the boys' bathroom? Scrubbing down the joint, he said, plain as day. You cleaned the boys' bathroom? I frowned. I'm frowning up my face. You touched the toilet and all that stuff? Caleb is shaking his head yes with every word I said. Disgusting. I suck my teeth. Miss Birdie comes over to tell us to separate. Get some more space between you, she says. 2 more seats over, Caleb, she insists. Caleb moves over. As soon as Miss Birdie starts squaring papers, he's back near me. I don't believe you, I whisper. Ain't nobody at the school crazy enough to clean the bathrooms, I said. Then I shut my mouth. For Caleb, he does seem crazy sometimes. He and his dad go feed the homeless on the weekends, and once a month Caleb volunteers at the senior citizens home. Last year he even got to the school to hold a neighborhood cleanup day. Yeah, I cleaned up the boys' bathroom, Clay said, smiling. Got down on my hands and knees like my mama taught me. You should have asked the janitor to help. He's doing his job, Caleb says. It's the rest of us that aren't doing ours. Caleb's hands don't look like they've been in no toilet, even if he was wearing gloves. His hands are big with nice straight nails. His fingers are long and strong, and they move all over the place when he's excited. Miss Birdie comes over and lectures us about why we're in detention and what will happen to us if Caleb doesn't move over and shout. For a little while, we write notes to each other. I write, why bother with that smelly bathroom if no one else cares about it? Caleb writes back, you have to take a stand when things aren't right. I looked at him and wondered why he didn't take a stand last year when he was on the bus and everybody was making fun of how black I am. Instead of writing back, I opened my folder and started writing my diary. Dear diary, Caleb smells good. Sometimes when I'm around him, I lose my head. I forget that I am mad at him and that I promised myself I would never ever forgive him for not coming to my defense on the bus. Those white teeth, them eyes, and that voice, they make me forget sometimes what he's done. That's why I try to keep away from him. I don't want to forget. Malika. Kayla looks at me for the longest time. Things can change, he says. Like things between me and you. Things at school. Don't go there, Caleb, I said. I said I was sorry, remember? Said it 10,000 times. Give a brother a break. Why don't you? This ain't McDonald's, Cable. No breaks today, I say, moving to another seat. Caleb's got about 6 books with him. He takes care of business, keeps up with homework. That's how he is. But even 2 seats over, I can smell him. He don't wear that cheap stuff that hurts your nose like some boys do. Dear darling, should you ever forgive a boy who done you wrong? Malika. Caleb can be persistent. He moves down 2 seats. Miss Birdie, the teacher, tells us both to settle down, shut up, or be ready to spend the day in detention again tomorrow. That doesn't faze Caleb none. He keeps running off at the mouth. Why you bother me, Caleb? I asked. I shouldn't have left you when they start teasing you, he says finally. Then he starts playing with his pencil, chewing on his lip. We both get quiet for a while. I figure if I left you, the other kids would stop messing with you. How can you think something like that? As Kayla says that ever since him and me started hanging together, the kids teasing me, so he figured if he got away from me, they stopped. So why are you trying to be friends with me again? Now, as he tells me that things are still going to be bad for me, even with him or not around, so he figures he can't make my life no worse. Besides, he whispers, I still like you a lot. Eyes don't lie. That's what Akilma would say. So I look deep into Caleb's eyes. God, they're gorgeous, big and brown. I think about Akilma. Right now, she's probably said, Malika, forgive and forget. That's easier than dragging around anger like sacks of stone. I want to laugh at that one. Those is Mama's words. She says them when I get mad at her. I want to forgive Caleb, but I'm scared. But if I start liking him again, he does what he did before. Mama and Akilma, they couldn't forgive him. I'm not that strong at forgiving. Not yet. Caleb stares at me, all dreamy, like I didn't mean it, I swear, he says. I won't ever let you down again, Caleb says softly. I nod. Chapter 20. Miss Sanders is crazy. Last week she got me stuck in in-house detention. This week she's asking me to stay after school so she and me can go over my diary again. I promised to meet her as soon as the 3:30 bell rings. I lied. I got to her room at 4:45. Why should I bust my butt getting to her class when she got me put in house detention? Instead of rushing, I stay and help Miss Carroll do Xeroxing, then watch the cheerleaders rehearse outside. When I get to Miss Sanders' room, she's not even there. The janitor says she's in the auditorium. We have to give speeches in her class tomorrow, and she wants us to each do it from the stage in front of a mic. She's there checking out the equipment. I figure Miss Sanders is on the stage, so I get into the auditorium by this backstage. The ninth graders are putting on the whiz, and they got all kinds of junk on stage. I hit my toe on a wooden monkey and almost trip over some long ropes and cables. I want to scream when I see that witch costume hanging on the hook in the corner like somebody's in it. I can overhear Ty and Miss Sanders talking. They can't see me where I am. This stuff was supposed to be off the stage for my class tomorrow, Miss Sanders is saying. Nobody here does what they say they will when they say they will. Thanks for agreeing to help me move it, Ty. Ty stands up and walks over to Miss Sanders. They push 2 tables toward the stage curtains, then stop to take a breath. I don't mind. I think the kinds of things you're doing to keep students interested, Ty says. I like the kinds of things you're doing to keep students interested, Ty says. I start to leave backstage when something Miss Sanders says makes me stop in my tracks. I wish it was helping their grades, though. Half my 7th graders are flunking this semester. Ty looks like they're going to fall out of their head. Mine probably do, too. How can that be, Ty says, standing and stretching her arms to the ceiling. Then bending over like a ballerina, taking a bow, she grabs hold of her ankles and pulls her head in between them. I hear your students in class. They love it. They get so excited. Miss Saunders bends over to get a good look at Ty. They are so enthused in class. What great ideas. That's great, Ty says, standing and stretching from side to side. The insights are fantastic, Miss Saunders says. We're going to talk about their test-taking skills are just terrible. Ty heads for the bed. Dorothy wakes up and she finally makes it home and grabs one end and starts talking. That's not unusual for many of our kids, but if you manage to get them to like Shakespeare, to read something other than TV Guide, help them learn to test better. Don't kill their spirits by flunking them and making them think that nothing they've done really counts. Miss Sanders sits down on the edge of the bed. I can't give them what they haven't earned. Nobody is asking you to do that, Ty says. Miss Saunders says the Clinton students have to be held to the same standards as other kids around the city. Ty said, that's true, but the test ain't the only way to prove you know something. They will thank me later, Miss Sanders says. Ty sits down on the bed and folds her legs. If you're still here. Miss Sanders stands and folds her arms tight. I know the students have been hard on you. The picture on the blackboard, the name calling in the hall, kids telling you to buy a new face. I don't want to talk about it. Let's get this stuff off stage. Miss Saunders gets up and starts dragging the end of the bed toward where I'm standing backstage. I'm fumbling with my book bag and trying to get out of there, but I don't make it far. I can't help wanting to hear what they're saying. Ty walks over to the edge of the stage and sits down. Her short legs look funny, hanging over the side. She starts drawing circles on the floor with her fingers. Ease up, she says to Miss Saunders. None of us is perfect. That's easy for you to say, Miss Saunders says. Then she starts talking real soft and sad, telling Ty how when she was little she prayed to God to make her face perfect. He didn't, she said. So I tried to make up for it, be perfect at everything else I did. Then Miss Saunders says she always had to be better than everyone else at everything because people always thought she was less than due to her face. She says she always had to dress better to get the highest grades and to be the most creative at her job. She had the highest sales record in the company for 6 years straight. Even here at McClinton, she says, I put in longer hours and give the students an educational experience and they won't find anywhere else. That's a lot of pressure to put on yourself and everyone else, Ty says, coming closer to Miss Saunders. You are a great teacher with good ideas. These kids will like you no matter what you look like, she says, but your need to be perfect, that will ruin you here. Not how you look. Miss Sanders takes out a mirror and starts redoing her lipstick. Next thing I know, she's staring right at me through the mirror. Malika Madison, you little sneak. If it wasn't for Ty, I don't know what Miss Sanders would have done to me. Even from where I was standing backstage, I can see that she was pissed. Teachers don't go for you knowing their personal business. That's the one thing besides hitting them that makes them go totally nuts. All that yoga and kung fu stuff Ty does must really work because she's calm, really chilled out. Miss Sanders is fidgeting. She is sitting there with her arms crossed. Ty asks me to have a seat. Then she explains how it's not polite to listen in to other people's conversations. I know she's right. I tell her I won't repeat nothing I heard. Ty believes me, but Miss Sanders, she just ain't buying it. I didn't tell Shar nothing about the incident when I saw her the next day. Shar is one of the kids flunking English, so I know hearing some dirt on Miss Sanders would make her day. But I keep quiet about it. Besides, Miss Saunders is going to get her soon enough. Char told Juju she was flunking English, and it's because Miss Saunders don't like her. Char says Juju told her not to worry. Juju says she'll handle things. In class, Miss Saunders says she wants to see me after school. It seems that women don't know how to make nothing happen during the school day. She always makes you stick around later for her. After school, when I walked into Miss Sanders' classroom, She's got uh, she got her feet on the desk and her head shoved all up in a book. When she sees me, she takes her feet down off the desk. Good, you came, she says. Sit down. I sit down and hope she's gonna make it quick. Miss Saunders is suited down and buttoned up tight, like usual. Today she's got on a blue suit with gold buttons and the same kind they got on Navy uniforms. I wanted to speak with you, Malika. Miss Sanders starts rubbing her hands together, cracking her knuckles. About your diary. We never did discuss it. How is it coming along? Before she says anything else, I pull out papers and show her my stuff. I'm talking to her about Akilma like Akilma's a real person. Miss Saunders says my stuff is real good. She's telling me I'll get 2 A's for it. Says I can keep it if I want to, but she won't make me. I look her up and down. I tell her I don't know what I'm going to do. I ain't for doing schoolwork when I don't have to. Miss Saunders gets real quiet. She acts like she doesn't want me to leave. I'm missing the I Love Lucy show on account of her, so I stand up to go. She finally gets around to what she's been wanting to say all along. Guess. Have you told anyone about my conversation with Ty? Miss Saunders gives me a hard look and goes on about how important it is for a teacher to not have her personal business out among students, how it can undermine her credibility, whatever that means. Well, you don't need to worry, I said, coming close to Miss Sanders' desk. I ain't telling. Some teachers got pictures of their family on their desk, their kids, husband, even their dogs. How she got pictures of this little Korean girl she sends money to every month. Miss Sanders ain't got nothing or nobody on hers. It's like she ain't got no life except her life at work. Miss Sanders gets up and paces the room. She don't know what to say next. I can tell all this walking around she's doing is starting to get to me. I go to the blackboard and start drawing on it. You act like you're the only one in the world who's been teased. I said, looking her right in the eyes. Please, look at me. Miss Saunders stiffens up. I keep talking. Some of us is the wrong color. Some of us is the wrong size or get the wrong face. But that doesn't make us wrong people now, does it? I sit myself on a desk and put my feet up, like Miss Sanderson has done. Shoot, I know I got my good points too. Miss Sanders cracks me a smile. Malika, you have a lot of good points, she says. Then she starts how good I am writing in math, and she starts on me about bringing up my grades. Before she gets too far, I ask, you got any friends? Miss Sanders hunches her shoulders. I've had a few in my lifetime. Hard to keep them with all the traveling I did in my corporate job. Ty and you are buddy, right, girl? You had asked 1,000 questions, Miss Sanders says. Then she answers me straight. Yeah, Ty and I have been friends since college. Ty was the one that suggested I come here to McClinton. I gather my books and prepare to leave. I'm glad you got one friend, I say. I'm almost home before I remember that I want to enter my writing into a library contest. So I turn around, walk back to the library, and talk to the librarian. She said the contest winner will get $100. Sign myself up right away. I tell the librarian I'm going to turn my papers in tomorrow. After I eat, I go straight to my room and rewrite all of Akilma's stuff. I write them up on real nice and neat. When I'm finished, I only have 5 pages. That ain't enough, I'm thinking. So I stay up half the night writing more. Mama comes to my room a few times and tells me to go to bed, but I beg her to let me stay up till I finish. Dear Diary, Kinjari isn't so skinny anymore. They had him working the crew, so they let him eat good. I cried when I saw him. I curled up in a ball and hid my face. Kinjari came closer and sat next to me. There is no one more beautiful than you, Akilma, he said. That only made me cry more. I'll go where you go, he said in my ear. You were a good boat builder at home, I said. They will want to keep you here when the ship docks. You will be free almost. And Jari told me that he could never work on a boat like this just to see the sun and feel the wind wherever he pleased. Rather be asleep with you than be free by myself, he said. Then he held my chin and helped me drink water from a wooden cup. At first, I would not look at him in the eyes, but then when I did, I was glad. Jari's eyes warmed me like the sun. Akilma. I never talked to my mom about Kilma till last night. When I got up this morning, she asked how things turned out. I let her read my diary page. You're a good writer, Mama says, setting the papers down gently. You could be a professional writer someday. Mama continues sounding just like Miss Saunders, like your father. Daddy wrote stuff like this, I asked, putting my hand down on the paper. He wasn't as good as you, Mama said, going to the sink for a glass of water. She won't drink cold water from the fridge, just warm tap water. But your father, he wrote nice letters, poems, stuff like that. He ever write a poem about you or me, I asked. Don't you remember the poem he wrote about you? The one about you being beautiful, Mama asked. Me? What? I asked, getting excited. No, I don't remember. When did Daddy write that? Where is it? I don't remember, Mama says, getting up from more water, then stops in her track. Well, now let's see, she says, scratching her head. Maybe it's in that box in my closet. I put some stuff up there that your dad gave me. I forgot about that poem, though, till just now. I run up the stairs 2 at a time. I hop over the top steps and almost fall into Mama's room. I push past the shoe boxes full of dream books and no good lottery tickets and fabric scrap. It'd go for the one marked with Daddy's name, Gregory. I lift the box out of the closet like a fragile piece of glass, but I'm too scared to open up. When I do, tears come to my eyes. There's a picture of me and Daddy standing in front of the house, playing football in the yard, him carrying me on his back up the stairs. I haven't seen these pictures since Daddy died. Mama yelled for me to hurry up because I got to go to school in half an hour. I'm looking through all the pictures, but I don't see no poems. I find Daddy's birth certificate and driver's license from when he drove a cab. I just about gave up when I see a crumpled brown paper bag that's been smoothed out and folded tight. The word is written out real neat and straight and strong. Brown, beautiful, brilliant. My Malika is brown, beautiful, brilliant. Mine. Mama's calling me. I can't answer. My mouth is full of Daddy's words, and my head is remembering him again. Tall, dark, and smiling all the time. Then gone when his cab crashed into that big old bread truck. Gone away from me for good. So now, Malika, you got to go to school, girl, Mama said. Heading upstairs, I fold the poem and stuff it in my pocket. Then I take the picture of Daddy with me on his back and put that in my other pocket. Find anything, Mama asked, sitting next to me on the bed. Just some stuff, I said, walking out the room to get my jacket. Mama doesn't ask what kind of stuff. It ain't that she don't care. She ain't ready to look or listen to Daddy again. She shoved the pictures back in the box and put the box on its shelf. I kiss Mama goodbye, and soon she's in the sewing room, throwing the needle. By the time I shut the front door, all I hear is that sewing machine going like crazy. Chapter 23. At school, I skip lunch period and go over to the library and hand in my stuff for the contest. The librarian says that over 100 kids have entered the contest. I almost take back my entry when she tells me that, but then I start thinking about how much time I put into my writing. I ain't got nothing to lose, I tell myself. I'm almost out of the door when I see some books on the table. They're poetry books, so I sit down and look at them for a while and think about Daddy all over again. Working in the principal's office has got its benefits. You get to see and hear everything, like parents coming in to tell Mr. Pajoli off. Juju came by today. She didn't have an appointment, but she wouldn't leave, so they pulled Miss Saunders out of class and got somebody else to cover her for a while. Before Miss Carol Kane opened her mouth to speak, Juju is screaming loud as anything. She says her sister's film because of Miss Sanders. Mr. Pajoli comes rushing out of his office, asking Juju to quiet down. He puts out his hands and introduces himself. Juju looks at his hand like it's dirt on it. She ain't gonna shake it. He asks her to calm down. She won't. Juju starts saying who she is and what she's come for. She's got on a skin-tight fire engine red dress that swishes like cheddar cheese on a grater every time she moves. She's banging her fist like a gravel on the front desk. She sticks her long bony finger in Mr. Pajoli's face. Says before that woman came, Char got A's. Now all she gets is D's. What's up with that? She shouts. Juju's right about Char's bad grades. As soon as Miss Saunders came here, she separated me and Char's seats. I guess she could see I was letting Char cheat off me. I ain't been doing Char's homework like I was neither, Lately, I've been making up excuses saying Mom is keeping me busy with chores, stuff like that. Before Mr. Pajoli answers, Juju is on the new subject. Char's all the time talking about that woman at home. Must how mean she isn't ugly. The teachers can't be taking her problems out on my sister just because she got burnt on the face or something. Mr. Pajoli asks Juju to come into his office. No, Juju says. She's not leaving until she sees Miss Saunders. Mr. Pajoli finally tells Miss Carroll to send for Miss Saunders. Miss Saunders comes into the office with her head up in her grade book under her arm. She's wearing red today, too. She seems calm, maybe because she's never met Juju before. Mr. Pajoli waves his hand for Juju to follow him to the office. Juju shakes her head. No, we ain't hiding this behind no closed doors. All this thing out in the open. Right is right, so let's handle our business here, Juju says. Mr. Pajoli stands his ground. Business is handled in my office or not at all. Juju's still mouthing it off, but she follows behind Mr. Pajoli. This is Char's third time in 7th grade, she's saying. Char can't afford to do no more time here. Her other teacher knows that. They're giving her grades. She needs to move up. Miss Saunders hands Juju some papers. Most of them are incomplete, she says. Charlize would rather pass notes than do assignments. Miss Saunders tells her. Juju odds on the paper. I don't know what happened next. Miss Carroll told me to get the janitor and tell him the principal wants him to clean up the mess in the boys' room. Miss Carroll could have called the janitor on the intercom. She wanted to get rid of me is all. The next time I see Juju, she's stomping out of the office saying Char better not flunk the 7th grade. Her feet sound more like bowling balls falling to the ground than feet. Then all of a sudden she stops and stares Miss Saunders up and down. You don't know what you're doing. You never even taught kids before. You flunked my sister. You won't teach nowhere else. I know people, big time people, she says, walking out of there. Chapter 24. Miss Saunders doesn't know what she did, pissing off Charlize and Juju. Now all Char does is talk about getting back at Miss Saunders. She ain't joking either. Last year when the gym teacher flunked her, Char ripped a hole in the top of her convertible. I glued another teacher's grade book together when he told her sister she was missing too much class. Mia and Char and the twins are hanging out behind the school when Char says Miss Saunders is going to get it the worst. They're going to meet tomorrow at school at the crack of dawn to start messing up Miss Saunders. I'm watching the sky. Lightning is flashing across it like God is trying out his electricity. And the clouds are black, like rain gonna pour any minute. I'm scared of storms. Char ain't. She loves watching rain beat on people and lightning chase people inside. We're gonna jack Miss Saunders up, she says, putting another coat of blueberry grape polish on her nails. Hate that ugly woman. Hate her. I think about telling Char about the conversation I hear between Miss Saunders and Ty in the auditorium, but I don't. I ain't no squirrel. Never was, never will be. Give me 5, Raina says, walking over to Char, ignoring me. What's shaking? Char tells Raina how she's gonna get even with Miss Saunders. It's payback time, Char says, laughing out loud. I ignore them and keep watching the sky. You know that big globe Miss Saunders got in her room? The one she says costs all the money? Well, that's gonna be the first to go, Char said. Gonna carve that sucker in two like a Thanksgiving turkey. Raina and Ray slap each other 5 and talk about spray painting the walls. You gonna do all that just because you got in-house detention, I asked? Char and the twins turn away from me. I swallow hard. You've been on detention before, Char. Why are you getting all crazy now, I asked. Char keeps polishing her nails. Ain't nobody ugly as Miss Saunders gonna be embarrassing me every time I turn around, then go raging on me to my sister Juju. I can't just let that go. Just wait tomorrow morning, just the beginning. I can't get in no more trouble with Miss Saunders, I whisper. Shut up, Malika, Ray says. Char knows what she's doing. I sure do, Char says, throwing her polish at my head. The bottle misses me, but breaks open on the steps. I can't get in no more trouble. That's all I know, I whisper. If things ain't bad enough already, here comes John McIntyre and his crew. The sky's gonna be as black as you in a minute, Malika, he says, looking up at the clouds. His friends think he's funny. They laugh and give him a few high fives. Then they start singing, Malika, Malika, we sure want to keep her. Shut up, Char yells. John McIntyre, I will kick your butt, she says, going after John. Jack up, Char, one of his friends say. Who she thinks she is coming at you that way? John don't say nothing. He just looks at Char with a stupid smirk on his face. See you later, midnight, he says to me. I can feel myself getting mad, my fists balling up at my sides. Then I remember my poem about midnight that I seen in one of those poetry books at the library. The words of the poem come tumbling in my head, and I start to smile. Midnight. At midnight, if you have eyes to see their beauty in there's majesty. Sweet brown babies tucked in tight, shooting stars bursting through the night. Strong, sturdy trees reaching for the sky, dancing and swaying to the moon's lullaby. Quiet water, silent nights, angels soaring toward the light. At midnight, if you have eyes to see, there's beauty and there's majesty. Sure, I don't understand what's going on with me. She looks at me and calls me stupid the way I'm smiling to myself. Then she tells John to shut his big stupid mouth. He winks and keeps moving. But he's still looking back at me like he can't figure out what's got a hold of me. Shar says something about how she's got to always look out for me, but I ain't listening really. I'm saying that poem over in my head again and again. Next thing I know, here comes Kayla. When Shar sees him, she starts talking real proper, all up in his face, and telling him how she likes his braids, asking the name of his cologne he's wearing. Hey, Malika, he calls to me, ignoring Shar. Caleb sure looks good, and he smells even better. He's got a lime green African dashiki with a tiny gold swirl stitched on it. He and me just stand there smiling at each other. He's checking me out. Shar pushes herself between us. She can thank me for how good Malika looks, she says, snuggling up to Kayla. I bought them clothes for her. Gotta keep my girl looking good, she says, licking her lips. Caleb tries to peel Shar's fingers off his arm. It ain't easy. She's holding on tight. I've been thinking some more about what we talked about in detention, Caleb says to me, finally getting Shar off him and moving closer to where I'm. I've been thinking about changing things around here, making things better, he says. What do you mean, like scrubbing floors? I asked, wrinkling my nose. Some of us are getting together tomorrow to talk about ways to improve McClinton. You should come, Malika, he says, peeling Shar's hands off him again. Malika's busy, Shar snaps. Yeah, I say busy. Come after you're done then, Caleb says. Shar busts out laughing. Sure, Malika will come after she's done. Me too, I'm coming too. We're all gonna help save the school, right, Malika? She says, shoving me so hard I almost fall down. I'm half listening. I'm trying to figure out a way out of this mess. Ever since Shar came up with this plan of ruining Miss Sanders, I've been praying for God to give me a strong spirit like Kilman's and Kanjari's. Listen up, Malika, Caleb says, grabbing hold of my arm and whispering in my ear. Your girl Shar is whacked. You better stay clear of her before she ends up taking you down with her. Shar and me are friends, I say quietly. Yeah, right, Caleb says, shaking his head. Shar's the kind of friend that will get you locked up or shot up, he says, walking away. When Caleb is all the way down the street, I can still smell his cologne. I can still hear him warning me to stay clear of Shar. He don't know what he's saying, though. You can't just stop being Shar's friend. She don't go for nothing like that. Malika, get over here, Shar screaming at the top of her lungs like I'm far away. My heart starts beating as fast and wild. I know Shar's plan ain't gonna mean nothing but trouble for me, but I got to go along anyhow. Nobody ever turns their back on Shar, not unless they're tired of living or something stupid like that. Chapter 25. I lay awake in bed 3 whole hours before I sneak out of the house to meet Shar. I keep trying to think of some reason I can give Shar for not showing up. A good reason that Shar will buy, so I won't get my butt kicked, but I'm too scared to think straight. So I put on my clothes and go. It's still kind of dark when I get to school. During school hours, the front door is locked and kids have to be buzzed in. But early in the morning like this, when the janitors and the folks who do the cooking are just making their way in, the door is unlocked. We all meet by the side of the building and make sure it's clear before we go in. I'm trying to tell Shar I don't think I want to do this, but she ain't listening. She's telling me to be quiet and get going inside. Raina, as too bad she is, let the door slam shut behind us. Who there? The janitor yells from one of the classrooms. We don't move. All 4 of us stand there like dummies ready to be caught. Lucky for us, the janitor ain't much worried. He doesn't bother to come and see what's the matter. He just turns up his portable radio and starts singing. We laugh and tiptoe down the hallway right past the classroom where his cleaning. Maybe this won't be so bad. I think then we run up the steps. Shar's high heels sound like hammers, banging nails whenever she takes steps. You would think Miss Saunders would lock up her room like other teachers do, but she doesn't. She told us once that this was our school and we need to take responsibility for it. That if things got destroyed, it was us that missed out, not nobody else. Miss Saunders has redone her classroom like she does for every book we take on. Monday we start Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. Her classroom has got about 100 ribbons hanging from the ceiling. Sheer puffy curtains are tacked to the walls. The room is full of purple, pinks, and greens. All of them colors and curtains make the room look soft and safe. Our desks are pushed up against the back of the wall, and lots of pillows like they sit on in the Arabian movies are scattered all over the place. Shar throws herself down on the pillows and stretches out like she's gonna be here a while. Maybe we should go, I said. Miss Saunders has just done the room over. She's gonna kill us for messing it up. Shar rolls her eyes my way. Payback has got to cost something, she says, laughing. I take a long, deep breath and look down at my clothes. I'm wearing the ones Mama made me. Char's got a bag in her hand with clothes she's going to give me today. I want to tell her to keep the stuff, but I keep my mouth shut and take the bag. The twins are the first to go into Miss Saunders' desk. Grace grabs a bottle of glue and swirls a design on a red velvet pillow. Then she takes the gooey pillow and smears it across the windows and walls. Char lets out a low, mean laugh and reaches up and yanks some curtains down. She tells Race to hand her the scissors, then jabs holes in the curtains. Race and Raina stab the pillow, pull out the stuffing, and toss the feathers around the room. Nobody knows me for a long while. I'm standing by the door staring until Char says, "Get over here, Malika. You're in on this too." I have to do something. They'll think I'm a chicken if I don't. So I get Miss Saunders' grade book out of the desk to watch. It's sitting there thick, loud as a clock. Close the drawer and erase a bunch of D's in the book. I put A's in their place. "Is that it, Malika?" Char says. "You gotta do better than that. Get over here." She takes a lighter out of her pocket and hands it to me. Tell me to burn the pile of money on the table. It's not the kind of money we use in this country. It's some foreign money with puffy-headed kings and queens wearing tall collars. "I want all that money gone," Char says, heading back for the desk and digging around the inside. I don't move. I stand real still. "You hear me talking?" Char asks. She digs around in the desk drawer, shoves something in her pocket, and dumps the drawer on the floor. "This ain't right," I whisper. Char grabs hold of my hand and says, "Do it or I ain't never bringing you no clothes." I shake my head. "No." "You're protecting Miss Sanders." Char wants to know. "You're protecting that hussy? Why? She don't like you neither. All the time making a fool out of you in class. You stupid girl. Do like I said or I'll do something to mess you up." I don't say nothing. Even though Miss Sanders and I didn't hit it off right away, she is still a teacher. I tell Char she still runs the show. Char grabs hold of my shoulder blade and squeezes till my knees get weak. "Like I said, I will jack you up, girl. Do you hear me?" While Char is pinching my shoulder, she takes her baby fingers and sticks it up her nose like a plug in a sink. She blows hard, sending a bunch of snot splattering over the money. "Do what I say or I'm going to do worse yet." She flicking her lighter's flame close to my head. I stare at Char in the eyes. Mama always says you can tell a person by their eyes. Char doesn't have no life in them. They're cold and hard like a flat black skipping rocks you find at the bottom of the creek. I shake my head. "No, I ain't doing it," I said softly, but Char squeezes my shoulder so hard I hear my bones creak. I grab the lighter with my hand and set the money on fire. The kings and queens curl up and turn black and disappear. There's nothing but ashes on the table. Char lets me loose, heads over to the twins. I'm crying in the corner, wishing I could undo this whole school year, wishing I could go back to being who I was, not somebody's fool. I'm rubbing my arm when I hear something popping and sizzling. It's curtains on the wall. They're on fire. "Girl, you're in trouble now," Char tells me, her eyes wide. "Shh," Ray says, peeking out to the janitor. "Somebody's out here." It's the janitor. He's around the corner, heading our way. "I'm out of here," Char says. She's the first to run. I'm the last. I'm grabbing hold of the bag of clothes she brought me. When I pick it up, the bag rips and the clothes fall. I'm shoving them back in and trying to run at the same time. Clothes are dropping with every step I take. The janitor is yelling my name. "Malika! Malika Madison! What are you doing here?" "Oh, my Lord, what have you done, girl?" I run down the steps. 2 at a time, I fall down and bust open my knee. When I'm out of the building, Char and the twins ain't nowhere in sight. It's just me out there and fire engines in the station house around the corner coming to undo what I just done. Rain is coming down and plucked me on the head. I look left then right and then finally run home crying my eyes out. Chapter 26. I can hardly get the key in the lock. My hands are shaking like crazy. I hold the key with my steady hand, but I still drop it. Miss Jackson, our neighbor, had a bunch of dogs that are barking like mad, growling like they want to come tear me to pieces. Where's that key?" I screamed in my head. My knee is still bleeding while I'm crawling around looking for the key. When Miss Jackson sticks her head out of the window, shushing them dogs, I keep real quiet. Still as stone, Miss Jackson looking to see why her dogs are so excited. She misses seeing me and slams her window shut. Then the dogs know I'm here, though. They start barking again, jumping against the fence like they're trying to knock it down and come for me. Them dogs would eat you alive if they could. I finally find the key, but then I drop it again. How am I going to explain this to Mama? Tell her I set fire to the classroom? Finally, I let myself inside. I take off my shoes, put them near the couch, then head upstairs real slow, but them old wooden steps talk. Every time I set foot on one, it tells on me. They creak like crazy, so I step real soft. I put my foot down easy as a baby going down for a nap. I get 3 steps out of the way, 4 or 5. Mama still snoring 9. Her mama turning over, talking in her sleep. 10, the last step, almost home free. My heart is beating. My breath is coming out of me like I just run 10 blocks. The last step is the worst. It creaks the loudest. I walk right past Mama's room, then the phone rings louder than I ever heard it before, and here I am, in the hall, right next to Mama's bedroom. Hurry up and get in my room. I grab hold of the phone and peel off my clothes at the same time. Your mama up, girl? Miss Jackson said. Oh my God, I think, kicking my clothes under her bed. Big Mouth Jackson seen everything. No, Miss Jackson, Mama's knocked out, asleep. Better call back later. Mom comes out of nowhere. How am I going to sleep with all this racket? She says, scaring me so bad I almost dropped the phone. So I holler, is that phone for me? Mama grabs the phone and starts fussing with Miss Jackson. Miss Jackson can't hear it too good. So Mama's yelling. It sounds like Mama promised to take her to the doctor on her day off tomorrow. Miss Jackson got the wrong day and wants Mama to take her this morning. But Mama tells her she working today. They start arguing. Mama's talking to me and Miss Jackson at the same time. Turn over and go back to sleep, Mama says to me, fixing my covers. I turn over and promise God that if he gets me out of this mess, I will never do anything like this again. Mom starts to say something else to me, but she's too busy arguing with Miss Jackson. Mama found out what I done. Chapter 27. I ain't never going to get off punishment. That was what Mama says. She whooped me all the way from the school security guard's office to our house. Got suspended at school. Every time Mama thought about that, she whooped me again. I was so embarrassed. Mama never hit me before, not till today. Mom can't hardly talk or look at me. She's been crying all day. She doesn't even go to work, play the numbers, or look at the stock. She just talks to me, talks to the neighbors, and cries. I stay upstairs as long as I can. When my stomach starts turning, I head downstairs to get something to eat. You want some of my tea, Mama asks. I didn't drink it yet. She pushes her cup over to me and sits there while rubbing my hands with her warm, soft fingers. We both start crying. I didn't mean for it to happen, Mama. I say, shh, she says. Then she comes over to me and holds me in her arms and rocks me like she did when I was little. Malika, I've been thinking all day how to undo what you've done, how to pay the school back, how to get you to tell me who put you up to this. Look at my arm, she says, rolling up her dress sleeves covered with tiny red bumps. So is her neck and one of her ears. Tiny bumps break out on every part of Mama's body when her nerves get to her, the best of her. Most times I put lotion on them to make them stop itching. I've been thinking all day, trying to figure out how to raise $2,000 to pay back the damages. The more I thought about it, the more I broke out in bumps, she says, scratching. Then she goes on. She talks so calm and peaceful, she says. She realizes that I'm not going to learn nothing from her trying to save me. You got to think about that you worth saving, baby. Got to realize that who you are is all you got. Mama says that she believes that someone as smart as me can figure her way out of this mess, no matter how big it is. Me, I'm scared to death. I'm begging Mama to not do this. I'm crying, wiping snot and tears away. I'm following Mama out of the kitchen, asking her to talk to my teachers, make this thing right, but Mama ain't having it. She turns on the hallway light, heads upstairs. I try not to cry, but I can't help it. Mama ain't being fair. I want to remind her that when Daddy died, I was there for her. How come she can't be here for me? But when Mama makes up her mind, there ain't no use trying to change it. $2,000, she knows I can't get money like that. I'm thinking about how I can make some money, but before I can think on too much, the phone rings at Charlie's. She wants to know if I told her no, I said, but that don't mean I ain't gonna. Malika, hang up that phone. You know you're on restriction, Mama says from the bathroom. All right, Mama, I call, acting like I'm hanging up. I lower my voice and tell Charlotte I got to go. She keeps talking. I can't get in no more trouble, she says. Last time I got cut the roof on the teacher car, they said I would be expelled from school if I did anything like that again. Well, I'm already suspended. I said, why should I get in trouble all by myself? I said we should leave the school. Why didn't you listen? I said, what I want to tell Shar is, so what if she gets kicked out of school? She's too old for 7th grade anyhow, but I don't say nothing. Shar's sister Juju is going to pay her $400 if she gets herself through 7th grade this time. Shar don't want to lose that kind of cash, no way. Shar admits that she should have listened to me, but it's too late now. She just wants to know if she can count on me to keep my mouth shut. If I do, she says she will bring me even better clothes to wear. I don't know what to do. Ain't no need for all that. All of us getting in trouble. Bad enough I got caught. Y'all gonna help me pay this money back? I asked. Yeah, we got your back, girlfriend, Shar says. Then so you won't tell. We all in the clear? The twins and me? She asks before she hangs up. Shar knows me. She knows that she can trust me to keep quiet, not to squeal. Yeah, y'all in the clear as long as you help pay back the cash, I tell her. Shar says she will talk to the twins tomorrow at school. She'll call me later and tell me what they say. Then Shar says, you're my girl, Malika. Knew I could count on you. Dear Diary, I remember the acorn even when you didn't see it growing. It's pushing past the dirt, reaching for the sun, growing stronger. Malika. I looked at the words on the paper. They sound good, all right, but are they true? I don't feel no stronger or braver today than I did a few weeks back. This is stupid, I think, grabbing hold of a page and ripping out of the diary. Then I balled that mess up and threw it in the trash can. Chapter 28. Moms make me go to Sam's store around the corner, even though he ain't never got half the stuff Mama needs or wants. I think she's doing it on purpose to embarrass me. She just needs some eggs and a slab of bacon for breakfast, she says. Yeah, right. I tell her I will get Sweets to go with me. Mama says forget about it. She wants only me to go and then come right back home and not to take my own sweet time getting back. When I go outside, everybody on their front stoops, kids, mothers, fathers, cousins, and it seems like everybody out there to ask me what happened and why a smart girl like me didn't know any better. When I get around the corner and see John John's face, I know the day can't do nothing but get worse. Ooh, he says, strutting across the street like he's cool. You did it now. They ain't letting you back in school, are they? John smiling. He's happy as can be. The worse things are for me, the better some folks like it. John's one of those people. I keep on stepping and counting cracks in the sidewalk while I walk. John offers me some gum. No way am I taking anything from him. At least you keep your mouth shut, he says, chewing the gum, squealing on your friends ain't even cool. So I walk in and stare him down. Ain't nobody to squeal on. I done it by myself. You don't have the guts, he says. They got the right person to pin it on, too. We all know you don't have guts enough to tell. Me and John are walking to the store side by side. I ain't talking, ain't even looking at him, just walking, eyes down, legs pumping, brain busy, thinking about all the mess I'm in, so I don't see some boy coming. They just show up all of a sudden, crowding in on me and John, blocking out the sun with their big sleeves. They're after John. They say his big mouth got one of them busted for shoplifting. Next thing I know, they're whomping down on John. I'm screaming in my head, but nothing's coming out of my mouth. John's little short arms are stretched out, and his hands are balled up like he's hitting back as best as he can. Where there's still 3 against 1. John's losing big time. Nobody on the street is doing nothing to help him. They're just watching. John's already got a busted lip, slap eyes swollen in water, maybe tears running out of the right one. I'm standing there shaking my hands and arms like I'm fanning myself. John falls to the ground and covers his head with his arms. Those boys are stomping John good. Finally, I find my voice. I yell for somebody to call the cops. Folks just stare. I yell some more. Somebody runs inside their house. Blood, I see blood. John, he ain't saying nothing, ain't moving either. All of a sudden, I'm remembering how those other boys messed with me on that day after Juju's party. All of a sudden, it's like my body's taking orders from somebody else. I'm running across the street and reaching to someone overgrown bushes in front of the house over the corner. I'm pulling on one of them branches to make a good switch. I break a few branches and run my hands up and down them to get the leaves off. Then I go back to John. One of the boys looking at me, daring me to use the branch. My heart is hurting my chest, hurting it bad. My hands are burning from yanking and peeling them leaves. My throat is so dry it's burning too. John, he's laying there still getting beat. Next thing I know, I'm hitting them boys. The first boy that I hit yells like a baby. His arm swells up quickly. He gets himself off John fast and comes for me. I keep swinging and sweating and praying for the police to come. I hear their siren getting closer. Then next 2 boys are off John now, and all of them are coming for me. coming, I dropped that switch and I closed my eyes. One of the boys got his hands around my arm, squeezing it. The other is cursing me good. I'm praying as hard as I can that the police are here. Only I don't hear no siren no more. They got to somebody else's house, I think, gone and left me here to die. The boys saying they're gonna beat me worse than they beat John John. I ain't saying nothing. My eyes are closed and pee is about to pour out of me like water. Then I hear some other people talking. Grown-ups, all of a sudden I hear a pop and a slap, and them boys let me loose. I start running. When I open my eyes, they're halfway down the block and Caleb's standing there. Him and his mama and a whole bunch of grown-ups from the block. It seems like they come right out of thin air. Ain't gonna have no girls be half to death, not around here, some old man says. They got brooms and bats and shovel. Caleb, he's helping John John up, telling him he can come in his house and get cleaned up. John John looks like a mess, but he's gonna be alright. Caleb's mama asks if I'm okay, if I want to come inside. No, I say. I have to go home and let my mama know what happened. I don't say nothing to Caleb. I just give him a weak smile. I'm feeling lucky he came along like he did. John always talking about how black I am. Well, I'm still the blackest thing in school, and it was me that saved his butt today. People are helping John inside Caleb's house like he's some baby learner to walk. I take myself home. I don't have much to tell Mama. The story gets to her before I walk in the door. She says she was just about to come for me. She makes me tell her the story 3 times before she lets me go to my room. After I'm there, while Mama knocks on the door, a letter just came for you. It's the library. You owe them money, she asks softly. I push open the door before Mama says another word. I snatch the envelope at her hands. Dear Miss Madison, congratulations. The 3rd Annual Young Writers Committee at Martin Malcolm Library is pleased to announce she has a winner of this year's contest. Show Mama the letter. The letter goes on and on about how many people entered and how they're going to put Mariah on display in the library lobby for the whole month. I stand there a while, fingering the puffed up gold letters at the top of the page, reading the letter over and over again. Mama and me both at each other. All of a sudden, Mom starts crying big fat tears. I don't have to ask her why. I know we both wish Daddy was here for the good stuff and the bad. Chapter 29. Mama went right out and bought me a frame for my congratulations letter. Together we hung the letter up in my room next to Daddy's poem, which we also put in a frame. I spend the rest of the day trying to figure out what to do about Char. Maybe I'll call Charlize and tell her I'm sorry, but I gotta tell. Or I'll tell Char that I accidentally told on her. Or I'll tell her the janitor said he saw her. I stomp my feet. Char ain't gonna believe none of that. She's gonna kick my butt if I tell. You would think after beating those boys off John, I wouldn't be afraid of nothing or nobody, but I'm scared like nobody's business. I'm sitting here on the bed rocking and sucking my thumb like I did when I was 5, like I do when I get in real trouble and I can't figure my way out. I don't have no choice. I gotta tell. Then the phone rings. Hi, girlfriend, Charlize says, all sweet. How you doing? At first, she makes some small talk about John getting beat up. I'm half listening. My hands are shaking. I'm so scared. I almost dropped the phone. I'm taking in a long breath and start to tell Char that I'm gonna admit that she made me do everything. But then Char says, me and the twins talk. We'll bring $100 to your house today. That's the best we can do. I second my breath and said real fast, I'm sorry I got to do this, Char, but y'all don't leave me no choice. I didn't mess up that classroom by myself, so I shouldn't be the one in trouble and the only one suspended from school. So I'm telling it was your idea and that you made me light the fire. I know you're going to be mad, but that's how it goes, Char. At first, Charlie said, don't say nothing. She just breathed. I knew you punk out on me, she says. Finally, I knew it. Shut up, Char screamed. I'm talking. Then all of a sudden, Char starts laughing, really laughing, the hard laugh, kind of laugh that makes your stomach hurt. I knew not to trust you. That's why I stole Miss Saunders' watch and slipped it in the slits of your locker. Char says and busts out laughing again. And when they searched your locker, guess what? She laughs. They found that watch. They really think you did it now. She laughs for the longest time. Now tell me and I will personally kick your skinny black butt, Malika Madison, Char says. And I won't be by myself either. You hear me? I shake my head. Yes, like Char can see me. But she knows my answer because she don't wait around to even hear what it is. She just laughs some more and hangs up the phone. I walk over to my bed and start rocking. They're expelling me from school. They think I'm a thief and a firebug. I close my eyes and rock some more. I rock till my insides are calm and peaceful. Chapter 30. When I'm feeling better, I look at my dad. The I look at the library letter hanging on the wall next to Daddy's poem, and the picture of me and him together. I can't even keep the money I won. I had to give it to the school to pay for that mess. Char don't know, and she don't care. All she wants is for me to keep my mouth quiet about her. She's standing over me, getting louder and louder. The doorbell rings. Somebody rings 3 short, quick times, like they're nervous, but the fourth ring, Mama yells for me to get in. She got her hands full in the kitchen. When I opened the door, Miss Sanders is standing there. Malika, she says, stretching out her arm and showing me her watch. You got some explaining to do. My eyes get big and my mouth opens wide. Before Miss Sanders says another word, Mama walks up, holds me close, and tells Miss Sanders to come in. Mama's talk. Mama's talking a lot. She keeps going back and forth between the living room and the kitchen. Tea, sugar, homemade biscuits, honey. Seems like Mama will never sit down. When she finally does, Miss Sanders brings up me and my situation right away. Mama finds another reason to head to the kitchen. Miss Sanders talks away anyway. Rumors are going around the school, she says. Everyone is saying you had help, that it was Charlie's idea to destroy my classroom. I let her keep talking. I pick out a scab on my hand. I'm here to get the truth from you firsthand. Say no matter what, we can work this out, Malika. My eyes shift from Miss Sanderson to the floor. We need to talk about this, Malika. Ain't nothing to talk about. Van say I did it. That's that. Not alone you didn't. Everyone knows that. Who helped you? Listen, Miss Sanders. Some kids dare me to do it. Said they'd pay me $25 if I did it. I needed the money. That's all. I said, digging all this at the scab, drawing blood from the dry, hard shell. Malika, once you told me that you could be trusted to keep a secret, my secret, and you did. I know you did. Now I'm asking you to trust me. Miss Sanders turns my way and takes off her jacket. She rolls up her sleeves of her blouse. She reaches her hand out and takes my hand. Trust me with the truth, and I promise everything will be okay, she says softly. I snatch my hand away. I said, what happened? Why does everybody keep bothering me? Just leave me alone, I said to her. Miss Sanders sighs and lets my hand drop. She puts her jacket back on and lets herself out. Chapter 31. I go to the school the next day. Miss Sanders has arranged for me to come back. She asked me to meet her in her classroom before school starts. When I arrive, Char is there. Miss Sanders is not wearing a suit. She's got on blue jeans. Miss Sanders is saying something, but I can't make out just what. She and Char are talking at the same time. Char's going on and on about how she didn't have nothing to do with messing up Miss Sanders' classroom. Miss Sanders is telling me to tell her the whole truth. I want to tell her that the truth will get my butt kicked good. That if I open my big mouth, ain't nothing she or my mama can do to keep Charlize from getting me back. Only I don't say nothing. I just keep my mouth shut. Charlize looks scared like she's gonna cry. I never seen that before. I figured that maybe she didn't have no tears, all the while Char's eyes singing. I better take the blame or else. I'm so tired of being scared of doing what other folks want me to do. Char throws mean words at me. Words as hard as bricks. You better not punk out on me, she says. Tears start rolling from my eyes. Malika, you know what Juju will do to me if I get kicked out of school? Juju will kick Char's butt good. That's another reason why I can't tell. I'm rocking and thinking and crying. Miss Saunders is very quiet. She's listening and watching. She puts a gentle hand on my shoulder. If I get in trouble for you, you're gonna have to move to another neighborhood, Char is saying. I keep on rocking and crying. I'm thinking about the boy who tried to kiss me and the ones I whipped when I helped John John. I start thinking about Akilma too. Now Miss Saunders has her arms around me, and it sure feels good to have her here. She's letting Char speak her mind. All I've done for you, Char says. You gonna leave me out to dry like this? Wait till later, you ugly, stupid black thing. Call me by my name, I hear Akilma say, and I scream it out too. Call me by my name. I'm not ugly. I'm not stupid. I am Alika Madison, and yeah, I'm black, real black. And if you don't like me, too bad, because black is the skin I'm in, I yell. No matter what you do or what you think, Charlize Jones, you're 10 times worse. I would never force someone to burn down a classroom or pick other kids weaker than me or say words so mean that they make people bleed inside. I'm rocking and crying and rocking. You're the one who pushed me to mess up Miss Saunders' room, and you were in on it too. And you and the twins, I say, feeling relieved. Charlize gives me a hard look. She pushes past Miss Sanderson and me and makes her way to the door. Look at you two ugly-faced losers, she said. Miss Saunders don't even stop, Char. She lets her go. Then Miss Sanderson hugs me to her, and I feel safe inside. Chapter 32. A week passes. Raina and Reyes have been suspended. Nobody's seen Char. When the twins return, they tell everybody that Juju sent Char to live with her grandparents in Alabama. Kids are still saying how jive I am for squealing on Char. I don't care. Char can't hurt me now. Mr. Pajoli says my office job is over, that I've paid enough dues by telling the truth about Shar. I hunch my shoulders up like I don't care about the office, but deep down inside I feel kind of bad. I was starting to really like it, and I miss working there when I was suspended. As I'm leaving the office, Caleb is standing by my locker. He turns all red when I ask what he's doing. I was just leaving, he says, handing me a purple letter with a writing on it. Wait till I'm gone before you open it, all right? I nod and watch him go to class. I duck into the girls' room, drop the backpack on the floor, and open the letter real slow. Spearmint. It smells like spearmint gum. I take the gum out and put it in my mouth before I read the letter. It's a poem for me. To Malika, my sweet dark chocolate candy girl. Would you be my almond joy, my chocolate chip, my Hershey kiss, my sweet dark chocolate buttercrisp? Hand in hand, we walk to class and sit and talk in sweet green grass. Roller coasters way up high, pick moonbeams from out the sky. Would you be my almond joy, my chocolate chip, my Hershey kiss, my sweet dark chocolate buttercrisp? Caleb poem make me cry. It is so sweet. I look at my face in the mirror and smile. I promise myself to hang Caleb's poem on the wall with Daddy and the one from the library. On the way to class, I see Caleb. He is still red-faced. Even his ears are red. My heart is beating fast, but I go up to him anyway. That is the nicest thing anybody's ever done for me, I say with this goofy smile on my face. And when we stand there, me twisting a pencil in my hands and hand twisting one over of his braids over and over again. You two supposed to be somewhere, Miss Braxton? The gym teacher asked. Yeah, we both say. I'm going to Miss Anderson's class, I say, and I'm on the way to math class, says Caleb. Well, get there now, Mr. Braxton, pointing. I'll walk you to Miss Anderson's room. It's on my way, Caleb says, twisting his hair. I take his letter and put it in my backpack, and we walk down the hall together. I close my eyes for a second and take a deep breath. Caleb always smells so fresh and clean. Then another thing I look up behind. When I finally walk into the classroom, everybody's staring at me like I got two heads. I'm late, but Miss Anderson doesn't make an issue of it. Class is in the detention room while Miss Anderson's room is being repaired. Miss Anderson is giving us 20 pages of Alibaba and 40 Thieves to read by tomorrow and telling us she's been easy on us so far, but things are about to heat up. Welcome back, Miss Madison, Miss Saunders says, giving me a wink. Class wouldn't be the same unless you were late. Everybody laughs and turns my way. Yeah, John says, welcome back.